I really realized that everything that ever went wrong in life or like anything that I went through, I really just had drums to turn back to. I really just had drums forever.
Welcome, everybody, to Nashville Drummers Podcast, episode 61.
Happy New Year, and hope everyone is doing well and staying warm. Before we get into it, just want to say thank you for everyone's support over the last year. 2024 was a really big year for Nate and I in the podcast. We released 20 new episodes, had another amazing time at the Music City Drum Show, and we hosted a super fun Halloween drummer hang at Sonny's with, of course, Thomas Finch of FDS Drum Services. So whether you've messaged us online or in person, maybe shared the show with a friend or family member, or bought merch, we truly, truly appreciate it. And it's this community that keeps us going, and it really makes all of this possible and fun for us to continue to put on, because, you know, running a podcast is a ton of work, but without this community, it really wouldn't be possible. Also, on that note, a special thank you to everyone that attended our very first NDP panel at Drum Supply last week. We had just a total blast, and stay tuned as we'll share more info on how you can access the full recording from that night. So with all that out of the way, we were super stoked to welcome this next guest into the studio to help us kick off 2025. Many of you may know him as PORKCHOP, but we were delighted to welcome Cody Ash, drummer for Jelly Roll, to the podcast.
This was a killer first interview, and I just want to say I really think that Cody is a cool and generous guy, and I loved the fact that early on I kind of just asked him something like, "What's your story?" And
that's how we opened it.
Yeah. That dude just told his story. Just kind of just like, all right, well, here it is. And anybody who will do that for you, that's a generosity of spirit, my friend.
Yeah, as Nate said, Cody is just such a kind dude, super genuine, hilarious, and definitely not afraid to tell you how he feels. And I think just listening to the way Cody shares his journey, you know, as a young drummer, as someone just hungry and passionate about the instrument, to moving to Nashville and landing the gig with Jelly Roll, it's a journey full of ups and downs, of surprises, of inspiration. I think anyone that knows Cody would agree that he's one of the hardest working dudes out there, and it's no surprise to see where he's at today. Lastly, if you've clicked into the episode, which of course you have if you're listening to this intro, you would have noticed that this is a long one. In fact, it's our longest episode that we've ever released, nearly 3 hours. We've done our best to sort of break it up along the way, but definitely take advantage of the chapter markers, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or watching on YouTube. So with that, we hope you enjoy our first episode of the year, episode 61 with Cody Ash.
Not only doing you're doing everyone, and I think that's what's the most respectable about it.
Thanks.
Like, I like that it's not just like the dudes that are with artists. I like that it's like people that play around Nashville. I think that's so important.
Thank you. Yeah, I just think it's cool. I think drummers are really cool and interesting people.
Yeah.
And I think everybody, even like I've said this on an episode before, like even if you're like a really boring person, it's kind of like interesting. Everybody's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this is just our niche. The niche is it's drummers.
Absolutely.
And then everything else is whatever.
Love that. Yeah, there's just everybody's story is just so different, and where everyone came from and how they got there. And
yeah, especially in Nashville. That's kind of like the impetus of how we started this podcast.
Right.
Was like we had a room over at Diamond Sound. Mm-hmm. You're familiar with that place. And you know, we're both new, and we both were just meeting drummers, naturally became friends with drummers, but nobody was from here, which meant that they had a built-in story of moving here. It's like, well, why are you here? What are you up
exactly.
to? You know?
Yeah, that.
Sure, there's some locals, and we love our locals.
Yeah,
Joel Mevis.
Yeah, dude.
Who else? Yeah.
Where are you guys from?
I'm from Albany, New York.
New York. Oh, yeah. Wow, nice.
I'm from Redding, California.
Okay,
so we're opposite ends.
Love that. Yeah. And you guys just met at the studio, and then how long have you been here?
I've been here for 2020, so almost 5 years. Yeah.
I've been 8 years.
Yeah, I came in 2021.
2021, yep.
Heck yeah, man.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking of backstories,
Put this knot on the table.
perfect,
No, it's fine. We're good.
flawless, non-awkward segue.
No.
What's your story, man?
Dude,
Where are you from?
bro, I'm from Kentucky, this small town in Kentucky called Mount Washington. Yeah, there we go. A little fancy. I love that. Man, I'm from this town in Kentucky called Mount Washington. Small town. Well, when I was growing up, it was small, but now it's freaking booming, dude. Oh, can we cuss on this thing?
You
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, all right, cool. I didn't want to.
Yeah, you've heard some of the other
Thank you for
episodes.
asking.
I didn't want to like go off the cuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Small town Kentucky called Mount Washington. Born and raised there. So I was just from the small town stuff. So I was kind of a redneck growing up, but like not like my parents were like city people that moved out to the country. So it's like they didn't like go hunting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
My grandpa would take my dad fishing, or my grandpa would take my mom fishing, like when she was younger. But we didn't. I went fishing a couple times, and I really had to like learn everything on my own from there. Like if I wanted to like hunt or fish or anything along those lines. And anyway, so grew up there, and everybody that I went to school with was real redneck, very country folk, and so that's just what I grew up around. And so growing up, I was a redneck. I liked to have fun. I did some fun stuff, and but then
What's fun redneck stuff?
just fuck it, dude. Me and my buddies, like there was one time that we built a makeshift deer stand out of this, like, you remember those like elastic cheap beach chairs that you'd sit in them and they'd like stretch out, or like,
Oh yeah.
they were super uncomfortable. They were the worst.
Yeah.
Small little ones, dude. Well, I was like the youngest one in my neighborhood, and we would like, so they wanted, the older dudes wanted to make a deer stand, a makeshift deer stand, and put me up in it. So we got like a bunch of bungee cord and some like bungee cord and wire and like all kinds of other stuff, and made this makeshift deer stand in like the field next to me. And of course I was the only one that could sit in it, because I was the kid of the group. So they put me up in it, and they went and got my parents.
You were the guinea pig.
Yeah, I was a guinea
Yeah.
pig for everything, literally. And they went and got my parents, and they were like, "Look what we did!" And I was like, "Yeah." And then like I couldn't get down, and it was funny. So they ended up getting me down. And
Here's the question though.
Yeah.
How did your parents react to that? Were they like,
Dude,
oh yeah,
no, they
standard,
didn't.
or like, get him the
They
fuck
didn't
down
freak
from there?
They didn't freak out. They came out and they were like, "Very cool. All right, come on, let's go." Nice, cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Isn't that cool?" And they're like, "Yeah." And all my friends were like, "Yeah, dude."
Hell yeah.
Or the older guys in the neighborhood, and there was like some land with like some woods next to us.
Yeah.
And where I grew up, and we would go. I remember we would go into the woods, and then we started like building trenches, and we would go find like fence laying around or like some other stuff, and we basically built like this whole like sleepover fort in this woods, and like had like a little cooler and some chairs down in this ditch, and just we would like stay there all night and like
Sleepovers were
sleepovers
the best
out in the
growing up.
woods, and
Yeah.
like
Oh, that's
and we would
awesome.
like
In the
put
woods.
like leaves and like there was like some fencing that we found in there, and we like put like leaves and branches and like covered it all up. Like it was so cool. And then
How many kids?
it was like me and there was 4 other kids in the neighborhood that they were all like 4 or 5 years older than I was. So when I was in elementary school, they were all in middle school, entering high school kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so there was that. And then like, just as I'd get older, like me and some other friends, I grew up next to this river called the Salt River, and it was just a bike ride away. So we would get on our bikes, and we started taking, we had to go through all these hills and mountains to get down, or not mountains, but like hills, down these back roads into the hills through the woods to get to the river. And so we set up this camp by the bank, and every time we go down there, we would just take more and more stuff. We would take like a tent, or we'd take like water. We'd take all these. We had this whole setup down there. We were like, it was so sick. But we were young and just didn't think about, I guess, nature or whatever you want to call it. And of course, we had a big rain. The river rose, and my buddy's canoe was gone. Everything was gone, dude. It was so sad. But yeah, man, we just did stuff like that. But
Are those like, so where you would go and like dig trenches and like build basically a big fort? Is that still Like if you go back there now, is that still there?
They built there was a house that got built next to us, and like even the house that I grew up in, they like completely redid it. And you can still, I'm pretty sure you can still go over to the Salt River the way that we used to go, but I haven't been back there, and God knows, because we were trespassing. Like we had to cut through like all these people's properties, and there was no trespassing signs everywhere. And we just did it anyways. No one ever said anything, so we're screw it, you know.
Better ask for forgiveness than permission.
Really, yeah. I mean, we were young. What were they gonna do? You know, we were barely in maybe sixth graders, if that.
Yeah.
So, but so then like as I'm getting older, I'm everybody kind of in that town would like go hunting, go fishing, and I was just more so into sports and music. And
what sports do you play?
I played baseball and football, and then I played like I played basketball for like the rec league. You know what I'm saying? I played baseball, football, basketball for the rec league growing up. But then like when I got into high school, I played baseball and football for the high school for 3 years until my senior year. But yeah, man, so I kind of just started realizing that I was just a little bit different, didn't really like fit in with a lot of stuff. And, I was in band my whole life. So I was like seen as a band nerd, but I was also a jock because I, played sports. And so, as a freshman, like the band kids didn't fuck with me because they thought I was like
one canceled out the other, basically.
Yeah, they were like the band kids didn't fuck with me because they thought I was a jock and thought I was being a turd. And then I was loud. I was loud too. And I played drums, so it's just like a given for me, I guess. And then like the kids I played like sports with, they'd always like fuck with me or make fun of me because I wore skinny jeans and listen to like what they would call screamo music or so on and so forth. So it was like, and then like the goth or like emo kids thought that I was just making fun of them and was like, I'd be like, oh yo dude, like you listen to this new record, and they're like, man, that shit's whack, dude. We listen to real stuff. Like you're a fucking poser. And I'm like, dude, so I just
everybody's such an elitist. Why is everyone like this?
It was so ridiculous. So I just quickly realized in high school, like throughout like 7th, 8th grade and on, I just really didn't have like a place, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really fit in, and I know that's so cliche to say. And I was also like, I'm still a big dude, but I was a big dude too then as well. And, didn't really get girls, didn't really like, was made fun of for being fat and whatever. And just, I really just didn't fit in. And, my first band ever was a hair metal band. And we were sick. We played originals. We were called Bullet. And
I can see that a little bit.
Dude, it was fire. There's YouTube videos. Yo, it's crazy. It's sick. We don't have anything recorded because we didn't know anything about it. And I know. I've been wanting to go
get the band back together.
I still like know
a modern original hair metal band is something that I'm into.
I'm so serious, and I still have the songs in this, and I'm such a stickler on like a good song, and they still to this day we wrote good songs. Like we wrote some good like hair metal songs, So then I joined a metalcore, my first metalcore band, and we were called Death at a Dance Party. And we had synth and we had all of it. There is tracks and they are horrendous and it is glorious to listen to. It is so fun. But we weren't that good. But we, that was kind of where I started getting my name out, like in the scene. Because I was just very much showman and I loved like doing tricks, and I was definitely overplaying, and I was nowhere near. I was like a look at me guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I thought that's what I had to do and to make like my name out in the scene.
Yeah.
And so, so I started with them, and that was going cool. That was awesome. And, we're just playing local shows and making friends with local bands, and like it was so fun. It was so much fun. And then from there, I ended up joining a band called Anchors for Eyes, and we actually went and they were like a post-hardcore band, very much so to like, very like Circa Survive-ish or like
hell yeah.
I would honestly like Cinematic Sunrise, Circa Survive, like anything along those lines. Like very. Do you know who Chris Crummett is?
Yeah.
Okay, Chris. So we recorded with Chris Crummett. So it was like a very Chris Crummett style.
He did a bunch of my buddies' stuff. You ever listen to A Lot Like Birds?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So that era, yes. The guys that I was in a band with was like obsessed with all those like swancore bands.
Yeah, dude, that's so funny, bro.
So it was like They were all obsessed. So I didn't understand it, but I liked a challenge, and I liked playing drums to different stuff. And there was definitely more like, it wasn't as technical, you know what I'm saying?
What's this band called again?
We were called Anchors for Eyes.
Anchors for Eyes.
We never did anything. We weren't ever big or anything like that. But it was fun. It was like a really cool project, and those songs were decent songs too. So I was proud of that. And then we weren't really doing anything, and it just wasn't being taken as serious as I was, you know. And I ended up finding this band on MySpace called O'Kingdom.
God, and MySpace music.
Yeah,
dude.
and I thought that they were like the biggest thing to come out of Kentucky, and I was like, dude, these guys look professional. Like, this page is crazy. Like, they're, you know, the music is. I've never heard any recordings as professional as this come out of Kentucky, and like, dude, I was like blown away. And I saw that they were looking for a drummer, and I was like, dude, I'll do anything. Like, I'll whatever. So I'm like blowing them up, trying to like get this spot, and they were like, oh man, we just auditioned someone. Like, we think he's got the parts, so on and so forth. And I was like, damn. And then a month later, I end up getting a message like, hey, this ended up not working out, so we're sending the drummer to be the guitar player, and we need a drummer again. And I was like, yeah, I'm there. So I sent them in 2 audition tapes, and then they came over for 1 rehearsal, and they were like, yeah, you can like play the songs. We'll get it dialed in, but like the fact that you have this whole spot to rehearse in is like, this is pretty cool, and we're not moving our stuff. And I was like, all right, like they're like, you're the drummer, and I was like, okay, cool.
You've got the spot,
yeah,
dude.
It was my parents. The parents had the spot. They had the upstairs loft. God bless mom and dad. Yeah, and man, so that was like where a lot of it started. And that was like the first band I ever went on tour with. Like we booked our tours all by ourselves. We didn't have anybody helping us. It was like all on our own, all independent. And that band was probably the most professional, like successful local band that I was in.
Yeah.
But from there, because we were doing decent, I started getting hit up to fill in for other bands. So like, do you know like who Artifacts Pareo is?
I absolutely know who that is.
So
Okay, do you know the band Stolas?
Yeah.
I played for them.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so sick, dude. Fuck yeah.
Okay,
that rules.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yes. I mean, can I sit here and say the songs? No.
No, but
have
like,
I
but
listened
that's,
to Stolas?
if
Yeah.
that's if you're, I'm like, if you know who they are, then you probably know.
Of course, dude. All of those. Yeah, man. So I filled in for like Artifacts Pareo and like band, you know, all kinds of other stuff. But like
they are, in my opinion, they're underrated. I think they're really, really good.
Thank you. Thank you. One of the most underrated bands of all time.
They're fucking amazing.
You'll have to send me some tracks.
Dude. Oh my gosh. Every single record is just like, as a musician, like listening to it, it's just so beautiful. It's so incredible.
Yep.
But like, so I was touring with O'Kingdom and then filling in for other bands. The first fill-in band, this is important.
Yeah.
This is the important part of because it leads to everything else. So the first national tour I did, there was a band from Lexington, Kentucky called Beyond the Shore that got signed. So and as soon as they got signed, their drummer quit. So I was like, okay, well, they hit me up and they were like, hey, we need you to do this tour. So I was like, okay, absolutely. Like, so it was 2 shows with this band so I was filling it for Beyond the Shore. We had routing dates with a band called Sylar. And then from there, Beyond the Shore ended up doing like the first week and a half of a Canada run with Velamaya, Glass Cloud, and The Contortionist.
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy lineup.
Yeah.
Real crazy lineup. Yeah, dude, like some of the best drummers ever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, and so that was insanely intimidating for me because I had never listened to any of them. I had no idea who any of them are. Like, and so first show, I had no idea what I was doing. Watching Joey Baca for The Contortionist was one of the most insane things ever. I mean, everyone on that tour, like Sam from Vale and Chad Hasty. This dude named Chad Hasty was drumming for Glass Cloud at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Insane gospel dude that can just play anything. Yeah. I think he actually went on to play for, I think he played with like Mars Volta for a little bit, or he played with someone else, insane for a little bit. Anyway, so Sylar, for some reason, I had like a crazy connection to Sylar on that tour. Me and them became extremely close, really good friends, and I loved their music. I was like, dude, I love these guys. So that tour ends, and then Beyond Shore asked me to do another tour on the West Coast with Volumes, and this is when Volumes had just put out Via. And they were just getting steam. So it was Volumes, Glass Cloud, and Beyond the Shore. So we did a West Coast run. So that was my first time seeing the West Coast. Was in 2013. So then continue with O'Kingdom, and I continue filling in for different bands. And come 2016, I'm on tour with a band called Picturesque, filling in for them. And O'Kingdom had just dropped what would be our last record, our last EP or whatever, and not knowing it, but I'm on tour with Picturesque. It was Secrets, Palisades, Too Close to Touch, and Picturesque. And we were on the way home. We had like a 3-day drive home from California to Kentucky. And I get a call from Sylar. And I was like, it's really weird. I was like, they don't really ever call me. Like, these are like New York dudes. Just like, you know, tough dudes. I'm like, God, like, they're super cool dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, like we were friends, but they were like real cool dudes. Yeah. And, just like super cool guys. And
that's me from New York.
Yeah, exactly.
You thought it, right?
And so it was like, these dudes don't call me. I was like, normally I only see them if they're on tour. Like, they never reach out. And so I accidentally missed the call. So I call them back, and they missed my call. And I was like, all right, maybe it's a butt dial. And then he calls me back. Jaden, the vocalist, calls me back, and he was like, yo. And I was like, what's up? And I was like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? He was like, no, everything's great. I was like, you never call me. And he was like, no, I know. He was like, what are you doing next week? And I was like, I'm on my way home from a tour right now. I was like, I don't think I have any plans next week. He's like, what's your rate? And I was like, rate? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean rate? And he was like, what would you charge to play? And I was like, dude, I've never been paid to play drums. I was like, I don't fucking know. I was like, fucking pay for my gas money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where do we have to rehearse? If I'm rehearsing in New York, pay for my gas. And so, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, this is the biggest thing I'll do. This is sick at the time. So, so I get home, learn the songs immediately. I learned every song that they had out within like 5 days. I was so gung-ho on being a part of that band. And so we go out. It was like a small tour. They were just coming back from like a year hiatus, and they had just started this. They were a part of the whole start of the new wave of new metal. And in 2016, like when it was coming back. And so, and I hadn't heard anything like that since like Biscuit. You know, like what they were doing. And so I was losing my mind. I was like, yes, this is the direction. This is the way. I'm so into this. I'll do whatever it takes to be a part of this band. And so we do this tour. It's a small tour. It was like New Year's Day, Sylar, and then there was this band called My Enemies and I. They were like a newer band at the time, and they were also really sick too. But so we do this tour, and I get home. You know, they had a drummer. He just had some stuff going on, and so I get home, just like not expecting to hear anything, you know. And then I get another call. It's like, hey, can you come play this Beartooth CD release show in New York? So because our manager, Sylar's manager, is also Beartooth's manager. Oh, sure. His name's Thomas Gutchess. Shout out Thomas Gutchess, because that's my guy. That's the dude. I learn everything from him. He's like my mentor. Yeah. So I was like, well, duh. Yeah. And this is honestly, dude, this is probably like one of the, if there was anything that proved how bad I wanted something, like ever, if there was anything to ever prove that, it's probably this moment. I had like something to do on the day before and the day after the show. Like the day before I'd have to leave, and the day after the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had something to do. So, but I wanted to play that show. I wanted to, you know, I didn't know what was going on with their drummer or the extent of it, but I wanted to prove to them that I would do anything for them.
You're gonna make it work.
Yeah, I was gonna make. I'll show you, or whoever is around. If not you guys, your manager. If not your manager, the other bands. Like, I'll show someone there will notice this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I drove 14 hours to New York City, to the rehearsal spot, rehearsed with them, packed up, drove to the show, loaded in, set everything up, parked my car in New York City. We were at Webster Hall, the small room at Webster Hall, and the basement or whatever, and parked my car, paid like I don't know, like $45 a park at this meter, or like $30 a park at this meter. I was there for hours, you know what I'm saying? Play the show, stay for Beartooth, pack up drums, drove back to Kentucky that night.
Damn.
Got back to Kentucky and did whatever I had to do. It was intense.
Yeah.
It was intense. And I was like, had no idea how I pulled it off. No idea. And that's a very real thing. And so then it was like, I get home and about a week later, they were like, hey man, we're about to do this Plotting You tour. Do you want to come? And I was like, well, yeah, of course. Like,
yeah, and of course
like,
they're going to ask you because you just showed them the thing.
And you know, like I said, I don't know the extent of what was going on with their drummer, so because their drummer was also my friend, like, you know, so I didn't question it, and you know, I wasn't trying to step on toes. I was just doing you know what I needed to do. So I drive to New York, meet them, or drive to Pennsylvania because that's where they would meet with. Two of the members were in Pennsylvania, two of the members were in New York. So we'd meet in Pennsylvania, and we'd get in the van and trailer, go drive the rehearsal space, and then we'd leave from there. So I'd park at my bass player's parents' house, and then we'd go to New York, and then we'd start the tour. So basically almost every tour we started, I would drive to Pennsylvania or drive to New York and like keep my car there, and then we'd do the US and then come back, so on and so forth. So we do the Plotting You tour, and we're in the last week, and come to find out they were, whatever that was going on with their drummer, like it had just hit a point where they were kind of like, hey, you know what, like it's, you know, best for us to part. And, you know, so it was a very emotional like moment for them because that was like their best friend, one of their best friends. And he's my friend too. And he's an incredible human. And, you know, but sometimes it's just, you know,
sometimes it's just not the right fit anymore for some reason.
It's a business, right?
So they asked me, they said, and I didn't know how the music business worked. I didn't know anything about anything. Like, I didn't know about pay. I didn't know about like touring musician, full time. Like, I didn't know all I knew is that I wanted to play drums, like, and tour. Like, that's all I knew.
I know somebody's getting paid out there somehow, but I don't know anything about it.
So they asked me, they were like, hey man, we want you to be like our permanent touring drummer. Like, what do you need to do? I was like, listen, if you're wanting me to be a member of this band, like, I would love to be a member of this band. And basically they were like, we're not at a place where we want to bring in a permanent member, but we want you to be like our permanent touring guy. And I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, is this a notion to become a permanent member, or like, what's the goal here? You know what I'm saying? Are we like, or are you just keeping me as a touring guy so you like have a touring guy? And they're like, eventually we'd like for you to be a permanent member. There's, you know, just some things we need to whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. And obviously, like, you know, bringing someone in is a big deal. If, you know, we'd only done 2 tours at this point. So we were, you know, they're still getting to know me and so on and so forth. And anyway, so I ended up touring with them for like 5 years. 2018, I became a permanent member, and dude, we did a bunch of cool stuff. So I was in Sylar from like 2016 to 2020, and it was around 2018. We didn't make a lot of money. We kind of never got out of the 1 or 2 spot. So it was like our guarantees were always super low, and you know, there was always someone else to pay opposed to the members, you know, paying. It was like we either had to pay merch or we owed label or they owed, because I never signed a contract. Like they were the only ones on the contract. I was literally just like a touring member, like hired in, but without the pay part, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I didn't know any better. And I didn't, you know, it just never grew, sadly. And which it's a real bummer because that record Help that they put out, I wasn't a part of that record, but that record was just fucking phenomenal. But the follow-up record, Seasons, was also a phenomenal record, but I just don't think it was what fans were wanting. Like, I think they were wanting heavy, and we did not give them that. You know, we gave them emotional, and I don't think that they connected with the emotion. And you know, I think they're, like I said, I think they were wanting to connect with heavy, and we gave emotion. And there was like there was like 2 heavy songs on there, but it wasn't like the heavy that the fans wanted, if that makes sense.
You've heard of Drum Supply, but you gotta see their shop. It's a drum shop experience like no other. They're packed with all the gear a working drummer needs, and so many parts, noise toys, and accessories. It's a toy store. Curated cymbals, kits, and snares. The hands-on percussion room is nuts, and their custom shop work is fast and affordable. Andy and the guys know their stuff, and they're ready to help. And the big news? They've just moved to an awesome new location near the corner of East Trinity Lane and Dickerson Pike. Still in East Nashville, just a couple miles from their old spot, the all-new Drum Supply is twice as big, featuring a dedicated cymbal room, a lesson space, and even more drum gear than ever. Go see the new Drum Supply shop for yourself. Now open 11 to 5 at 2211 Dickerson Pike and online at drumsupply.com.
In 2018, we were in Europe with Of Mice and Men and Wage War, and awesome tour.
I bet, man. That sounds awesome.
I had met Cody with Wage War in 2017 when we were on Warped Tour, and Cody is the guitar player and clean singer. We were in Florida. I was a Wage fan, and I saw them loading in because Warped Tour was doing like special appearances in like different bands like home states.
Yeah.
And Wage was the special guest for the Orlando date in 2017. And so they were loading into our stage. I saw their van and trailer pull up, and I was like, I'm going to go help these dudes. So I like just show up. They didn't know who I was or anything. So I just show up to their trailer. I just start helping them load in stuff. And then, they're like super appreciative, and we get to talking, and me and Cody were talking, and he's like, dude, like, you didn't have to do that. I was like, I know. I was like, but I like your band, and I want to be friends. Like, so
just want to help.
Just want to help. And even if we're not friends, like, I would love if someone helped me unload the trailer, so anyways, we met there, and then we're doing the tour in Europe in 2018, and we were Sylar and Wage War were sharing a bus, and me and Cody and their other guitar player Seth, we found out that we all loved country music, and I was like diving back into country music at this time. Like I'd like to, actually, I'm going to be completely real with you, man, and a lot of people are going to hate this. You're all going to hate this, but I don't give a fuck.
Please be real.
I don't give a fuck what any of you think.
Yeah.
Let's go. Respectfully.
Let's go.
Fuck you, audience.
I grew up with country music. My mom would listen to Reba, and obviously I would hear Garth Brooks and Shenandoah and Alan Jackson, all the greats, and Alabama, like, dude, I grew up on it, you know what I'm saying? But I phased out of it and got super into metal and hardcore and metalcore and all that stuff, so I just kind of didn't, and I was so like, oh, everyone in my town listen to country music. I'm different. Like I'm gonna be different.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't listen to it for the longest time, and I was working at a pizza shop in 2011. And sorry to talk your heads off, but
no, dude,
No,
but
this
is
great.
fantastic.
But man, I'm working at this pizza shop in Mount Washington called Hometown Pizza. Shout out. And I love Hometown Pizza, by the way.
I thought it was Hunt Brothers Pizza.
Yo, there was
sponsored.
Hunts, not in my town, but in the other town over, they had Hunts. I fuck with gas station Hunts, man, for real. But we're at Hometown Pizza in Mount Washington, and I'm like making up these pizzas, or I'm like rolling out dough or something in the morning, and I hear this song, and I was like, all of a sudden I'm doing this. They only play country radio in the pizza shop, so all of a sudden I'm just doing this, and I was like, why am I grooving it? Like, why am I headbanging to this? I was like, what the fuck? And then the next song comes on, and I was like, what is happening to country music? I was like, this is sick. First song was Countrywide by Brantley Gilbert.
Oh yeah.
Next song was Cruise by Florida Georgia Line.
Okay.
And then, dude, I think after that, Homeboy by Eric Church came on the radio.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I was so baffled. So at that moment, the only country artist that I was listening to was like FGL. When I was getting back into it, I was listening to like FGL, Eric Church, Brantley Gilbert, Kane Brown, and then So that's like what got me like eased back into it. And then
You dipped your feet back in with those guys.
Yeah. And so I like became upset. I was like, damn, I was like, Brantley Gilbert's heavy as fuck. Like, this is sick. And then like FGL, like the hooks were crazy. Like, and I was just obsessed with it. And then a girl that I was dating at the time, she introduced me to Sam Hunt. And I was like, I didn't fuck with it. I did not fuck with Sam Hunt until she wanted me to take her to a show. And I went and saw Sam Hunt live. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, this is, and what made it crazy was that I didn't sit and listen to Sam Hunt, but somehow I knew like 3 of his songs. Yeah. And I had no idea how, because I'd never turned on Sam Hunt. But like, I just knew when I was watching them play, I was like, why am I singing this? Why do I know this? I was like, there's something, like there's something about whatever is happening in this writing that is like genius. You know what I'm saying? And
so was that like your first live country show that you had seen?
No. I saw Trace Adkins in like 04 or 06. I saw Rascal Flatts and I'd seen like all those bands, or I'd seen like a lot of country artists. I'm pretty sure I saw Travis Tritt when I was younger too, but a lot of State Fair kind of stuff, July 4th State Fair stuff. It's Kentucky, so we'd always have super rednecks, and then we'd have that one super like we'd have that one rap night, and then there'd be one night that was like ZZ Top or Foreigner or Styx, or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like getting back into it, and so by the time 2018 coming around, I'm like fully jamming a bunch of like new country. So Aldean, Luke Bryan, all these new what people would call bro country or whatever. Right. But that's what got me back into it, to do the deep dives to find all the new people. And so we're on that tour, and every night we'd trade off getting a bottle. So like one night I'd buy a bottle, and then like the next night Cody would buy a bottle, and then one night Seth would buy a bottle, and like we would just establish these what we would call country nights. In Europe it's like double-decker buses, and we were over the driver, and we had like this Bluetooth player, and every night I felt so bad for that driver, dude, because every night he had to listen to us like jam country till like 2 or 3 in the morning. And
he definitely quit. After that,
dude, he was like, I think he was from Poland or something, so he definitely had like no idea what was going on. Like, and
these are crazy.
So we're just like trading, like showing each other all these things. So like Cody introduced me to like Mitchell Tenpenny and Luke Combs and like. All a bunch of different artists, and then I was introducing him to stuff, and we had both like Cody loved FGL, and so we like really connected on FGL. He showed me Dan and Shay, and like so we just, for this whole tour, it was just like broadening horizons of like country music. And
so fucking
it was
sick.
really cool, and on this metal ass tour. So,
that's like that's the way to relieve that thing, because if your ear just gets so fatigued, I love metal, love heavy shit, but like if that's all you're listening to country after that, it's like
a breath.
Oh, cool.
Could not relate more. Could not relate more. Yeah, man. And so we we finished that tour, and I kind of start to have this like life epiphany thing that was like, oh, I'm like 26 or 27 years old. Like I gotta.
Did
like
you
30s,
say those exact words
like
at the time?
In not out loud to someone, but I was like in my house, like my parents' house, like, or I think I was living with my girlfriend at the time and whatever. But either way, I was like, wherever I was sitting there, and I was like, I'm like not making money playing drums right now, and that's the whole goal. And if that's the goal, I need to figure something out. And then I was kind of like, damn, how do I get involved in country music? Like, how do I, because that, obviously there is money to be made there. There is a way that you can make a living playing country music. And I was like, how do I do that? So my first step, I was like, well, I only live 2 hours from Nashville. I was like, that's good. That's cool. That's easy. That's an easy drive. And
it's better than 14 hours.
Yeah, for real. So I was like, that. Oh, okay, cool. Well, who are my favorite country artists right now? I need to go find their drummers. So I went and found I looked up Kane Brown's drummer. At the time it was Kenny, and and he was already following me. And I was like, okay, what? And then I looked up Cody Johnson drummer Miles. He was already following me. And I was like, okay, something's weird. And I looked up Jake from Luke, or I looked up Luke Combs drummer, and it was Jake Summers. And he was already following me. I was like, okay, something's not.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? Like, this is weird.
This must be some weird algorithm or something.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to message all of these people. So I messaged everyone and was just like, hey, man, I love your band. Like, I love what you guys do. Like, would you, like, let's hang out. Let's get lunch or, dinner or something. And Kenny, freaking rest his soul, dude. Kenny was one of the first ones that I, like, got close with. And just through the internet. We were just talking all the time through the internet. And he was actually the first one that, like, guest listed me to a country show and, like, brought me back into their world. And it was Kane was direct support for Aldine at the time. It was like 2019.
Yeah.
Kane was direct support to Aldine. And so Kenny brought me out to the show, and as soon as the show was over, he, like, came and met me and the girl I was dating and brought us backstage, and, like, we were playing cornhole, brought us on the bus. I met Kane, and, like, when we got on the bus, he was like, yo, dude, like, this is Cody from Sylar, and, like, went and, like, started playing Sylar in the back lounge, and, like, their band was, like, jamming it. And, dude, it was one of those things that I was like, dude, this is different. Like, this is cool. Like, this is really cool. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I got to do this. Like, I have to do this. And sadly, shortly after that year, Kenny had passed away, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible man, incredible human. So I just want to say that to real quick, because he was amazing, But yeah, man. So I continue throughout 2019, then 2020 hits, of course. So I have this whole plan. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do all this stuff, and then 2020 hits, and I was like, fuck. Sylar had done a Europe tour, another Europe tour with Velemai and Attila at the end of 2019, and we got home from that, and spirits weren't, like, really high from that tour, and I was like, I think this is gonna pause for a little bit. I think this is gonna end. But I was like, I'm not sure, but I can't stop. Like, I was not in a place where I could just wait. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't just stop. And so I started. So at this time, dude, the story's so fucking nuts. I'm so sorry. Just weird. But so at that time, I started managing a band called Devil's Cut.
Okay.
I had just picked them up, just started working with them, and because obviously I didn't know what was going to happen with the music thing. I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was like, well, I want to, like, I've been in this for long enough. I know how things should look. I'm still learning, but we can learn together and we can grow. Yeah. So I pick up this band called Devil's Cut. We were recording with a producer named Andrew Bayless, who originally was from Ocean City, Maryland, relocated to Cleveland. And we were going up there and recording with him because he was decently priced and he had a great, insane sound. Like, and he is one of the most creative guitar players I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen someone make a riff the way that dude does. Just off the cuff, like, just 3 minutes he can write a riff that is, I can't even say it's amazing.
Hey drummers, do you need a place to practice on actual drums? Drumbox has locations in Lafayette and Longmont, Colorado, and their newest location is right here in Nashville, Tennessee. You can book sessions online and get the space to yourself. Each Drumbox location is fully equipped with 2 kits, cymbals, hardware, and even sticks are provided. 30-minute, 1-hour, and 2-hour sessions are available at www.drumbox.space. Use the coupon code ANDP25 for 25% off your first session. The coupon code is valid at all 3 locations. Again, that's www.drumbox.space.
Something happened in 2019 where he was in Nashville recording someone, and somehow I don't know the full extent of the story, but somehow it ended up that he was with this band, and this band somehow knew Jelly and Jelly Rollins and whatever. So they all went out, and it was like 4 a.m. From what I understand, it was like 3 or 4 a.m. And Jelly was like, I want to go record. And so he was like, we need to call a producer. And Bayless was like, oh, I produce. And he was like, all right, let's go to the studio. So Jelly used to have a studio over there off 16th, and we would go. So they went over to the studio, and Jelly loved what he did so much. He was like, I'll hire you to be my producer out of my studio. You can record any band you want. You can bring anything you want in here that you want. The only rule and stipulation is that if I want to record, you have to stop everything you're doing and record. So he was like, yeah. And
That's sick.
Moved there. So he was like, fuck yeah. So he moves there. He moves down here in Nashville, starts recording out of Jelly Studio. So Devil's Cut, I was like, okay, well, we're going to Nashville now. So I didn't really know anything about Jelly. I knew he had the song Save Me.
Yeah.
Save Me hadn't came out yet. At the time, I only knew he had a song called Sunday Morning because a friend of mine was the biggest Jelly Roll fan in the world. I didn't really I didn't understand it. I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't go in and listen to the music. I didn't really know anything about him. Yeah. So we start going to Nashville to record and write with Devil's Cut stuff. And plus, they're like a metal country band, so no metal bands were coming to Nashville and writing at the time.
Right.
Or doing it the Nashville way, where they were setting up rights with other people and like so on and so forth. So I was like, we're doing this shit different. I was like, I don't want to be like the other metal. Like, I want you guys to come down here. We're going to write with real writers. We're going to like really do this shit. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be in a room. We're going to do cool things. So they started writing with like Cody from Wage War. And then we went and wrote some other stuff with other people throughout Nashville. And then we'd go to Bayless and record it. So we were in and out of Jelly's studio with Bayless probably every 2 to 3 months. And then on my own, I was coming down here and going to writers rounds and not playing. I played drums. So I was just going to network, like purely going there to network. And then I'd go to Losers and Winners and Red Door and do the whole circuit to like meet drummers and meet musicians and meet all these people. And like, then I would go home and connect with people on Instagram and Facebook. And then I'd come back here and have lunch with all of them. And like, just really did the whole circle, just networking and trying to get my name out here and being like, yo, I got drum videos, like check these out, or, you know, whatever. The whole thing.
Being present.
Yeah. You know? So it was like twice a month, if not more, I was in Nashville, like driving from Kentucky to Nashville. So then come 2021, because, you know, none of the bars shut down here really in 2020. So it was like, or there was house parties, or, you know, there was just like everything. So it was just, I was down here all the time. And come 2021, I'm bartending still at the time. And Bayless had been joking with me, being like, yo, you're going to drum for Jelly. You're going to drum for Jelly. I was like, I don't, okay. I was like, okay, I don't know who this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I know he has Save Me. Like, very cool song. I was like, I don't know, you know, whatever. He was like, no, he's like, killing, dude. He's like, I was like, okay, like if
you don't understand how this is popping off right now.
I was like, okay. I was like, if he needs a drummer, you have my number. Just give it to him. I was like, you know, stop. You can say this all you want, but like I was like, you know that I want to play drums. You know that whatever. Like I will play with and for anyone. Like I just love playing. You know what I'm saying? And so oddly enough, one night in like, I think it was March or April of 2021. I just got off work. I just got done bartending. It's like 2 a.m. There was a show. I was piss hammered and sitting at the bar, like waiting, like for my friends to get off. And like, I start getting these phone calls, and one's from Bayless. He's like, yo, how well do you know the Jelly stuff? And I was like, I don't. I was like, but like it's hip hop, like I can play it, like it's fine. Yeah. And he's like, oh, okay, but you could play it. And I was like, yeah, like we're good, dude. And so he hangs up. So he hangs up. And then Miguel and Jaden from Sylar were actually down in Nashville writing with Bayless. And then Miguel calls me. He's like, yo, how well do you know the Jelly songs? And I was like, I was like, dude, I know them. I was like, Bayless just called me. I was like, what's happening? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, somebody like, tell me something, for the love of God.
Just keep your phone on you. And then he hangs up. And then Bayless calls me again. And I'm like, I'm like, and everybody's looking around like, dude, what is going on? Like, why are you?
What time is this about?
Bro, it's like 2:30 in the morning.
Okay,
So
okay.
it'd be like 1 or 2 here. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Okay,
it's like 2:30 in the morning where I was, and Bayless like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, dude, I got to work at 10 in the morning at the vape shop. I was like, what? And he was like, if you had to come to Nashville, would you? And I was like, yes. I was like, I've closed shop. I was like, but no one's saying anything. He was like, just keep your phone on you. You're gonna get a call tomorrow. And I was like, all right, whatever. And at this time, he had said that I was gonna get a call for quite some time, so I was like, took it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
So then we get to
The
next
until
day,
it's real, always with the grain of salt.
Literally.
Yeah.
And so next morning, 10 a.m., I go to work at the vape shop. I'm like, whatever. I start helping customers, and then there's like a line of customers, and I see a phone call with a 615 number, and I was like, hold on. I was like, I'm so sorry. This is like a very important phone call. So I answer it. It's one of his managers, and they're like, yo, you know, can you play the Jelly songs? Like, are you interested in whatever? And I was like, yes. I was like, Bayless and them called and asked me all of this yesterday. Like, did they not tell you? And he's like, no, they just gave me your number and, you know, to like call. I saw some of your videos or whatever. I was like, okay, well, yes, I'm very, like, I want this gig, like, bad, like, you know, whatever it is. Like, I'll be there whenever. And they're like, all right, we'll call you back. I was like, okay, so hang up, help the rest of the customers. Everybody gets out. He calls me back and he said, what's your rate? And I was like, listen, dog, I'm going to be real with you. I've never been paid to play drums. I was like, we barely made anything when I was in my last band. Like, I don't have a rate. I was like, I don't know what Jelly makes. I don't know what kind of money is coming in, and I don't want to be disrespectful, and I don't want to lose the gig. I was like, just what do you think is appropriate to ask? He was like, well, you know, and I said, you know what, here's a number. I was like, take this and let me know if it's less or more or, you know, whatever. I was like, I don't care. I was like, this is, I'm here. I'm here. And so he calls back and he's like, well, we can't pay you more than guitar player because he's been here the longest. We're going to put you at this. And I was like, cool. He's like, how fast can you get here? I was like, well, I'm at work right now. I can close shop and get there at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. And they're like, all right, leave now. And I was like, okay, cool. So I call my buddy and I was like, hey man, I need you to come cover the shop. And he's like, yo, I'm at lunch with my daughter right now. And I was like, fuck. I was like, how long you got? He's like, probably like a half hour. I was like, all right, I can wait a half hour. I was like, but can you come cover shop? He's like, yo, I'll cover. And I like let him know what's going on. He's like, yo, I'll come cover. So I'm like sitting there. It's like 20 minutes go by and I'm like, I can't wait. And he calls me. He's like, yo, I'm on the way. And I was like, cool. I fucking closed the door, locked up shop, and got in my truck, drove to my parents, packed up the drums, and then drove to Nashville. Here's the best part about
insane.
Here's the best part about.
Did you ever see that shop again?
Yeah, no. I mean, they have one in my hometown, and so I'd like pass
you
it.
didn't
You
go
know
back to work.
No. I never went back to work.
That's like out of a fucking movie.
It's
right there.
crazy,
dude. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? That's a lie. That was a lie. I'm wrong. I did work at the vape shop and their warehouse and the bar for another 2 months after that happened. Because I was still living in Kentucky and he was just doing one-offs. But so I actually didn't stop those jobs until about August of that year. I think is the last time that I had worked, August or September. Oh yeah. So the funniest part about that story is I go down there. It's my first time meeting everyone. Drive down, listening to. I got handed 18 songs to learn on the drive down. And I was like, fuck.
So this is for a gig?
This is for Jelly.
Right. But
yeah,
it was
one
like
show.
One show.
Okay. Yeah, so
got it.
One show for Jelly. And so I'm learning these 18 songs on the drive down there, expecting to go into rehearsals, right?
Yeah.
I get to Nashville. I call Miguel. And I was like, hey, man, I'm pulling up to Nashville. I'm about like 15 out from the rehearsal spot. And he was like, change of plans. You guys aren't rehearsing. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, Jelly wants to go to a steakhouse. Dude, I just got handed 18 songs. He's like, yeah, well, this is what Jelly wants to do. So I was like, okay. So we go to like, they were like, he was like, where are we going? Or I was like, where are we going? He's like, Jeff Ruby's. I was like, what's that? And he was like, a steakhouse. And I was like,
just fucking be there, man.
Like a nice one? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, dude, I can't afford that. And he was like, just get here. And I was like, okay. And
you don't worry about it, dude.
You're not buying it.
No, just like no idea.
You're just like a young kid,
and no idea, and like not expecting it. It's just, I've never been treated like that. I've never had that treatment. And so I drive up. obviously that Jeff Ruby's downtown, there's no parking anywhere.
No.
So it was like the only option was the valet. First time I'd ever valeted in my life. And I was like, and I remember getting out and being like, what do I do? And the guy was like, just leave your truck there. And I was like, how much is this? He was like, they'll whatever inside, or they'll, what is that? I don't know.
Validate it.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. And
do I tip you?
Literally, well, I knew that I would tip. I knew that I would tip. I just didn't know how to.
You're
how to
stealing
pay
my
for
car.
it. I didn't know how it was like. And so I go inside, and this is my first time meeting everyone. I end up sitting next to Jelly at the table. I still have the photo. Yeah. It's incredible.
You have to show us after.
Yeah, I will. And so I'm like sitting here, and like I'm like an already very overstimulated person as it is. Like it takes very, very small things for me to like become antsy or like you know aggravated or annoyed or something. And so I'm like, we didn't have rehearsals. I'm stressing. I'm stressed out, bro. So I'm like sitting here at this table, just kind of like doing this number, and he goes, "What's wrong, Bubba?" And I was like, you really want to know? And he was like, yeah. And just so soothing and so calm. Yeah, and I was like,
can totally picture that.
I was like, dude, I just got handed 18 songs. This is my first gig in Nashville, and I want this more than anything, and I don't want to fuck it up, and I want to be here, and I'm scared. And he was like, you need to relax. You're going to be all right. And then was like, get tequilas. There's like 24 of us. So so waiter comes in, and this is my first like experience with anything this upscale and you know, like we were in a private room. The menus had like Jelly Roll on it, and I was like, "What, bro? Who is this guy? Like,
do you have your own version of the menu,
dude,
my guy?"
It was they like made it was so cool, and so the waiter comes in with 24 shots of tequila, and he looks at me, he says, "Hey, when you set these down, go back and order another round." This is when he was drinking. This is when he when he was drinking, because he's not now. He was like, every time you drop off another one, he said, put in another order immediately. There couldn't have been any less than 10 to 15 rounds of shots of tequila that night.
You've seen Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes.
That's like that scene until one of us passes the fuck out.
Dude. And then we go to, I think we go to the studio and drink more, or we went to winners or something, or losers. Ended up not.
Dude, 5 tequilas and I would be non-functional.
I was gone. Yeah. I was gone. I didn't drink like that. Like I drank, but I didn't drink like that. Yeah. And he's just not someone that you can say no to, because he's so it's like he doesn't peer pressure, he doesn't anything like that, but it's like
just a people person.
It's just it's just like you want to do that with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
you don't want to let him down, right?
Yeah, literally. I don't ever want to feel like I would want to like let him down. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a perfect way to put it. Yes. And especially because I was so new, and I was like, "Oh, I'll do everything that you say." Yeah. You're like, and yes, dude.
You clearly have done some things right. So tell me what to do.
Your name's on the menu. So
it was like 4 a.m. I get to his manager's house where I'm staying. Like I said, we were supposed to rehearse that night.
Yeah, sure.
So 4 a.m. we get a text from the TM, and he says, "Rehearsals 9 a.m. Be there. Don't be late." And I was like, "You got to be shitting me." I'm terrible hungover, bro. I'm the biggest baby. I'm such a baby when it comes to hangovers, dude. I nursed the hell out of it for a day and a half easily. Not good at hangovers at all. And dude, so I wake up at 8:30, drive to sound check, load all the stuff in, so it's 9:15, and I done went through a couple songs. There's no one there. No one's there. None of the band members, no TM, no one was there. And I was like, all right, 10 o'clock rolls around. No one's there. And I was like, dude, did I misread something? And I'm like looking at my phone, and I was like, no, it said 9. And then 10:30, 10:45 comes around, and I text the team. I was like, yo, am I like in the wrong room? And he was like, no, everybody will be there shortly. I was like, you said 9, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, it's almost 11, dude. Like I've been here for 2 hours. Like what's happening?
Yeah.
And
Like,
what the fuck is going
dude,
on?
it was like I still don't know how to explain it to this day. But I was just like
still inexplicable.
Still inexplicable. And no one got in trouble. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck that no one was there. And it was like
It
they
was
didn't
just for you.
and they didn't give a fuck that I was there. Like they were like, okay, yeah, you got here on time, cool.
Were you the newest member, the only new person?
Well, no.
Or-
So there was Jack, the guitar player, he flew in Wednesday, and then he was there when they fired the drummer that they had that day, which is when I got that call that night at 2:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And then Thursday they called me that morning to come down, and I drove down. Then all that happened.
Yeah.
Then we show up, and the only person that had been there before Jack was the DJ, Chill, and then the other guitar player, Casey. Casey had been there. He's the longest member in the band. He's been there for, I think, now 11 years. Jack had just got hired on the same time that I did. Chill had been there since like 2019, I think, or 2018, or one of those. But but all of our first time together in a rehearsal room was that Friday.
Right. Yeah.
So 11:30, everyone's showing up. I'm kind of just laying on the couch. We rehearsed from 12 to 4. 12 to 4. 4 hours, just meeting each other. 18 songs. None of us know the songs except for Casey and Chill. None of us know what's going on. Like me and Jack are like just trying to like get through it, like trying to like whatever, like play through. And around 5 o'clock, they were like, all right, we need to start loading up. So they load up, and then we get on the bus that night at like 10 or 11 or something, and then we head out. So we only had like a 4.5 hour rehearsal, if that. And then we go to the show. We show up to, I think it was in Georgia, was the first time we played, first show. It was a Mud Park Festival thing, super fucking sick. I miss those Mud Park Fests, dude. They were some of my favorite things to play.
Yeah.
Show up, and we played a show for 7,000 people off of a 4-hour rehearsal and just all meeting. And it was like, I had no idea what just happened. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, I thought that touring was all like over, or like I had that thought during 2020 that like touring was going to be over for me. And like I had never rode on a bus, and I had never, headlined for like big crowds. And
You really thought that?
I really thought that. I didn't, I wasn't going to accept it happening, but I thought there was a period where I thought I was going to have to accept it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it was like I was going to bust ass to make sure it didn't happen, but I really had to have that like real talk with myself of like, yo, not everybody gets there, and I had to have that like talk to myself of like, hey man, this might not be your path, and you got to be like prepared for it. But I didn't stop, you know what I'm saying? And got, there's a part of it that's ass busting, and part of it's that's all the hard work and all the bullshit and the grind and all that stuff. And then there's the part of it that things just fell into place, and the luck, there's luck plays a part in it, but also I'm not gonna ignore all the ass busting that I did too. Definitely it wasn't fucking handed to me by any means.
Grinding like
for years,
crazy person,
and still grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it like
that's obsessed, dude.
Yeah, it's all I had. It's the only thing I had, dude. Me and her took a crazy mushroom trip the other night, and I like went on this whole spiritual journey of like how I really had the realization that I had like nothing. Like I had no one. Like I had nothing. I had like how I, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know how to explain it, dude. Like I really realized that everything that ever went wrong in life, or like anything that I went through, I really just had drums to turn back to. And it's like my family, I have my mom, my dad, my sister, and my grandma. Like that's all I had. Like that's my family, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I have family outside of that, but after my great grandma passed away, like that kind of just disbanded. And then when my grandma on the other side passed away, those holidays and stuff kind of disbanded. And so it was like, I really just had drums forever. And
what a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah, dude, it's so beautiful. And it's like, I don't think I ever really understood that. And that's where that, the word obsession comes into play, is that I wasn't going to allow it to not happen. I couldn't accept it not happening.
Yeah.
But, in 2020, you had to have that real, you had to have that real talk with yourself of like, yo, this might not be it.
This might actually not work out.
Yeah. That's an important talk to have with yourself if you haven't done it and you are an artist, period.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to like have to maybe even think about that. Like that's especially with like everything that I had done up to that point. It was just kind of like, damn, dude, like, did I miss something? Like, what did I miss? Where did, so I dude, it was just, very, very grateful for how things, ended up panning out. And it's just not something that I will ever in my life take for granted, dude. No one will ever understand how like not only like how much all of this like genuinely means to me, but how like unbelievably grateful and blessed I am to be able to do it. And it's like I will help and be there for anybody that I am able to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
give it back.
Like, dude, I got to do something so cool, bro, on this tour, and it's like I hope nobody takes this as like bragging, because it's not bragging. It's just something that I'm so like happy that like I got to do, because no one did this for me, and I always wish someone would have. And like, we were on tour, and I got asked to come tour the Zildjian factory. Mm-hmm. I've been with Zildjian since 2017, and they've been always been great to me, but the tours just never lined up where I was close enough to go out there, right? Or nor did I have the money to Uber out there, to Norwell or where.
That's where they are.
Yeah, Norwell, Mass. Yeah. We'd always play in Boston, and it was like, I couldn't spend $150 on an Uber, but so I got to do that on this tour. Well, at the time we had it was the first half of the tour, so we had us Warren Ziders, Alexandra Kay out on the run. Yeah.
We had our boy Lou Vecchio in here.
Yep. Lou is hands down one of the greatest freaking humans ever. Yeah, God, I love him. Yeah. Love him. So
and he's the first person to challenge me on the use of the word noodle.
You would remember that too.
Yeah. He was like, "Do you mean pasta or
he
noodles?"
Just shut it down, yeah.
I was like, "Hey, don't get smart with me, boy."
Hold on.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Hold on. We'll get there. Yeah.
I got it.
Don't you worry.
Go more.
I've got.
What's the fuck's plan? Lou, what the fuck's wrong with noodles, dog?
Yeah.
Hey, dude,
you gotta.
Lou Vecchio.
Dude, I love that guy, man. I love that guy. I love every single one of those people. Like AK's whole crew is amazing. Warren's whole crew is amazing. I love them. So Warren's drummer, his name's Tyler, and Tyler's drum tech was named CJ. And this dude, bro, CJ or Sarad, CJ, bro, that motherfucker out drummed all of us. That dude was insane. He's an insane drummer, but he's so good. Yeah. But I was going to do the Zildjian thing, and I asked my rep, Eric, I was like, yo, look, I know this is like my first time coming. I was like, and I know that these dudes will be capable of doing it on their own as well. But can I like bring them with me? I was like, can I bring all these other drummers with me? Because I know it would mean something to them. Hopefully, and if it doesn't, then whatever. But I know that when I was in like a one spot on a tour, like I would see the headliners go and, direct support, those drummers go and like do the tours and like do all the cool drum stuff. And it was like, they would never ask me. They would never invite me. They would never do shit. And I was like, yo, man, if I was in their position, I'd fucking do that. I'd bring everyone out that I get.
Especially if it sounds like you guys are super close.
It's like, dude, it's a cymbal factory, bro. Like, this thing, ugh. Yeah. Anyways,
there's a lot of that.
I can't stand the ego cool guy shit, dude. I hate that, man. But anyways, dude, sorry. Anyways, yeah. So Eric was like, yeah, absolutely. So I went and got all of them, and I was like, yo, come tour the factory with me. Like, no one ever did this for me. I want to be able to do this for you guys. And they were, I could just see that they were all so happy. And that meant so much to me, because it was just one of those moments that, you know, I just want to do that for everyone that I can. Like, I love that stuff, man. And that to me is one of the most important, like, cool parts about this stuff. Like, getting to do that. And, like, I still stay super in touch with, like, the Kentucky metalcore scene and, like, hardcore scene. And, you know, if any of those bands ever have, like, questions or advice, or, like, you know, I'm straight up with them. I'm real with them. Like, they'll, you know, a lot of them will come to me and be like, "Oh, what do you think about this song?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, look, realistically, the song could be better." I was like, but obviously this is just a subjective opinion, but if you value my opinion and you think that it means something, I was like, I would love to show you what I would have done, or how I would have approached these parts, or, you know, if you value that. And, you know, that's not for me to just come to you and be like, "Hey, your song could be better." But if you want my opinion and you want to, like, if you think there's room to grow and you think that I can help you grow, I would love to help you do that. And, whether it's songs or socials or anything along those lines, like, you know, I'm not, like, crazy massive on socials either, but I can help bands with their trajectory if they listen. And, man, so that's what it's about to me, dude. Like, I went to my, sorry, it sounds like I'm bragging on myself, but it's just things that I genuinely,
that's such a cool story.
It's just things I genuinely, like, love that I can do, you know, like, bro, I went to my high school, my high school band. They had their Christmas concert like two or 3 weeks ago. And I've been trying to make it out to that for like 6 years now. And I've just either been on tour, or I couldn't find the date, or, like, something about it didn't line up, and finally it lined up and I got to go, dude. And it was so cool to go, like, see their Christmas concert. 'Cause it was like, it meant so, like, I went for myself. I went because I wanted to watch, you know what I'm saying? But I could see how much it meant to those kids that I was there. Yeah. And 100%. That is special to me. Like, that's like, you know, that's that feeling that I remember as a kid, you know, if someone that I really wanted to be somewhere was like there watching us. And and that's a, you know, there's a very unique feel, especially when you're young, having that experience. Really. Yeah. It's so cool, and it's so beautiful, and it's like, and it's not something I ever expect, like, because I'm going to that to fulfill what you know, that inner child in me that's like, damn, I miss being in a concert band sometimes. And, like, I miss reading music and playing off of sheet music, and, you know, having a conductor, and, you know, so on and so, like, I was being a part of a concert band, or like a symphonic band, or orchestra.
What was your drum for percussion section?
All of them. I played marimba, xylophone, vibraphone.
My God, I didn't know that.
Bells,
I'm classically trained as well.
Oh, no shit. Yeah. I was in.
There it is. It's back.
I was in marching band.
It's your year to learn.
Dude, new year, new
Nate doesn't know
player.
That's okay, dude. That's completely okay.
I mean, I haven't done a marimba gig yet in Nashville. But.
As long as you know your scales. I mean, I'm not like, I know how to play it, but I'm not like crazy. So I was in marching band my senior year of high school, and then I was in. I was actually I went to the University of Louisville to be a music theory teacher. So obviously you have to be in the music. Yeah. So you have to be in music school, obviously, to do that. And if we're being completely honest, I didn't score high enough on my ACT. I think for Louisville, you had to have a 21. I scored like a 19. And I took the ACT like 4 times, bro. Just kept getting 19s. And like, couldn't nail it. So I had enough, like so I had 2 points. In order to do 4 year at U of L, you had to have 21. Sure. But at 19, you could do 2 year. So it was like I was going there with the idea that I would end up taking the ACT or the SAT or whatever it is and getting the 21 over that 2 years while I studied to do music, be a music theory teacher. Yeah. And so while I was like in college, like I was in marching band, I was in concert band. I did some symphonic or some orchestra stuff with them, but I got selected by the colleges in Kentucky to do. It was they chose like 2 students from every college, 2 or 3 students from every college, in Kentucky, except for EKU. They had the school, but it was for intercollegiate steel band. So like they created like a steel drum band. And I got to go and be a part of that at Eastern Kentucky University.
That's so cool.
And that was like so cool, man. And like, so like I come from like that background, you know what I'm saying? I was in band from 5th grade all the way until freshman year of college. And like I love band. Yeah, I did band camp, did all the stuff, dude. It was great. So it was like, now I'm not a theory genius by any means, but like I only did like I was only there for 2 semesters until they told me I couldn't tour, and then I had to leave. So I was like, dang, dude. Then I went to, so I didn't get to see that out. Now I went to community college for a couple years.
But you had enough interest in it that's what you wanted to do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. I still would do that.
Yeah.
Really? I would. Oh, yeah. If all this ended and it would be, dude, it would be between me going back to school and getting a music theory degree, or I get my CDL and be a truck driver or bus driver so I could stay on tour, or I would like.
Dude, if you keep dressing like that, you'd be the coolest theory teacher. That'd be so sick. Yeah,
I think theory needs a freaking.
Yeah, check out the C Mixolydian skill.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm playing. I'm being funny. All theory teachers are awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I loved theory because my high school didn't have theory class. So my first introduction to theory was college, and I was like, "This is what I want to do. Like, I want to understand and know every single thing there is to know about music and why things happen and why, how we get these key changes and how we get from this to this and
why does this work?
Yeah, why do people like this? What about the human? Then fuck, dude, music is crazy, bro. Because it really just goes so much deeper than just the music
why
itself.
Do we feel the way we feel?
Yeah, bro. Music has an element of psychology to it, which is so
a massive.
Oh,
it's
so
why music
awesome.
theory exists. So like that, when you move from this chord to this chord, it makes most people feel like this.
Yeah,
most people fall under a certain category. If you don't feel that way when you hear that, you're an odd duck. This works for like
but then you get into the question of well, why didn't this person feel that way when they heard that?
Right.
And then what chords or what movements or phrasing does make that person feel that way?
Right,
dude. Music is awesome. I love it. And then drums too, dude.
Man, that's so
drums?
Special that you were able to go back to your high school.
I love it. Yeah.
Like children were so impressionable, especially during that time. And like, I'm sure we all can remember having someone come in, like a big mentor, a big drummer.
Yeah.
Someone where you were like, oh,
that's why I
just
started
hits you
drumming.
in a certain way.
That's
it's cool to hear that's
why I
important
started drumming, because there was
Yeah.
a dude in 6th grade. His name was Joey Coulter. He actually was my drum teacher, quote unquote, for about a year and a half. I was coming to 6th grade, and he was at the University of Louisville at the time, and he was from Mount Washington too, and he would just come to our class to help with percussion and like help us get through sheet music and read and so on and so forth. But every time we walk in, he'd just be ripping drums, dude, and I was like, so fucking cool, man. Like that's so cool. And then and then it was like this 8th grader had a drum solo during the Christmas concert, and that's where I was like, Mom, Dad.
I want to talk to you about drum solos. Yeah. We'll get there.
Cool. That's but yeah, so that's my story.
That's your story.
That is my. Literally, I gave you guys the longest version of it.
Dude,
that is the story.
I so appreciate it. I mean, we've heard some pretty
Thank you for listening.
pretty wild stories. I mean, we're not done, by the way. We have a whole other hour probably at least. So we'll see.
Oh, brother. See, dude, here's what I tell everybody that I do podcasts with. Is like, I'm like, bro, I love like chatting with people. I love like having these conversations with people, and I will talk, and I will continue to talk until someone tells me to shut up, because I love it, man. I never like.
It's perfect for us.
It's just one of those things that like I never feel like people care about the story. You know what I'm saying? And I think that and I can't just be like, hey, dude, you should hear my story because it's special. You know, and I'm never gonna be that person. But it's like.
No, I mean,
the
we reached out to
opportunity
you for a reason. Obviously, we want to hear everyone's stories.
Thank you, man.
And obviously, you're doing something super special. It's cool to hear, like, I mean, literally your two worlds collided.
Yeah.
It sounds like even now, it's still like kind of your background, doing those early tours
dude,
and the metal scene and country.
Yeah,
It's
that
so cool to hear.
The intercollegiate steel band that I got brought into. So I was like a freshman in college, but everyone else that was there, or at least like in the percussion part of it, the people that I was staying with at their dorm was like a bunch of like drumline and percussion dudes at EKU, and they were all seniors, and I was a freshman, and that they were the ones that introduced me to gospel drummers. I didn't even know that world of drumming existed, but they pulled up like
Aaron Spears.
dude, they pulled up Aaron Spears, Chris Coleman. Then they were pulling up like the John Mayer trio and like all this, dude. All I knew then was like metalcore and like Adam Gray, Matt Griner, like that's all I knew, and Luke Holland and so on and so forth. And which all phenomenal drummers, and I still look up to all of those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, Texas in July they played my college concert, but it was like it's called the Hunt Union. It wasn't even like a venue. It was like literally just like a big coffee shop, wooden floor kind of area, and they just destroyed the entire room.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
That was my first time seeing him play. Like,
dude,
oh my God.
Bro, he's so good. I hope one day me and him get to be friends. I hope.
Maybe it'll be because of this podcast. Let it be.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, man, but they introduced me to gospel drumming, and that's how I started like introducing gospel chops into like metal. And then it was like, that's why the blend of Jelly is so awesome for me as a drummer and an individual, because his music is literally who, not even knowing that that's what it was going to be, but his music is who I am as a drummer. Like from the hip hop to the country to the rock stuff, it's like there's nothing more that I could have like that fits my style of drumming better than like a little gospel, a little metal, and a little country.
Dude,
that's like little pocket, all of it.
Yeah,
dude,
that's so incredible.
I love that.
We talked to drummer and the advice of like, the gig's not for everybody, and you have to learn when to say no, when to say yes, and maybe you do a great gig or a tour, but it's like you don't get called back, and it's not quite the right fit.
Yeah.
Hearing that is like, it sounds like it was literally the perfect fit.
Yeah, it was, and I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even know. Like to me, this was just my step into Nashville, not knowing what was going to come of it. But dude, it was. I'm sorry, man. We just ate Olive Garden. My burps be smelling garlicky. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm just being real, man. that bread is crazy. But yeah, dude, I'm so serious. I'm sorry.
Really is endless.
But yeah, man, it was one of those things that I didn't expect, and I'm so grateful that it worked out the way that it did, man. Like, even down to just the personalities, man. We're all so. I probably get really annoying because I ask a lot of questions, because I overthink everything. So I always like want to make sure that I don't make anybody mad, so I want to always be correct so that I don't make anyone mad. But the fact that I probably ask so many questions already probably annoys people. So it's just like,
but it's all about intention too.
Yeah,
so, I mean, they know you.
I love them, bro. I love everybody there. And like Jelly's just such an amazing human. Like he's been such a, even him, he's been like a mentor to me in ways. And like his wife Bunny has like been a very big, like, influence, like as a big sister, and just their whole family, and like it's just been awesome the way that they were accepting and like brought not only me but like everyone, you know what I'm saying? Because like Jack, our guitar player, he was in Sleeping with Sirens. Our bass player Alex was in a band called Conditions. Dude, half of our crew is Warped Tour dudes. Dude, our track guy was in a mirror. Mark, dude, like we're just all Warped Tour kids, man.
Wow.
Like metalcore, hardcore Warped Tour kids, and dude, our guitar player Casey, he probably loves Stolas.
Yeah,
like I know he like fucks with like Idola and like all those all those bands in that world, and he loves Artifacts.
Those are my dudes, man.
Yeah, dude.
My buddy, my bass player Reese is the bass player in Idola now.
Oh, that's sick. Is that always Idola? I kept saying Idola. I'm sorry, Idola.
How dare you?
I think it's I don't know. Maybe.
Either way, beautiful name. I love how it's spelled.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we're just all. Oh, and dude, we just hired our boy Matt Ferranti. He's a Detroit kid, but he comes from like the Detroit metal scene.
Key player, right?
Yeah, key player,
dude.
guitarist, incredible
familiar.
vocalist.
Yeah, he's great. He used to have a Monday night set at Tin Roof, and they would do hip hop, and they just destroyed. Someone told me like, yeah, there's like a sick band that does hip hop at Tin Roof. I'm like, what? What?
No
the
shit,
fuck,
dude. I have to ask him about it.
They were smashing.
Yo, he's amazing. He's such an amazing vocalist. He's an amazing artist. I love that dude. But he's a Michigan metal kid, and like he fucked with like
Never would have guessed that.
Loved For the Fallen, like huge For the Fallen Dreams fan, huge Acacia Strain fan. Like he listens to like all that shit. And like so when he came into the band, we had like when we met him last year, he filled in last year for our keyboard player because he had to go out and do something, and he walks on the bus, and we're like, just immediately fits because we're such a weird group of dudes in the country world. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's not a lot of I don't know how to explain it, but
you stand out a bit.
There's like we stand out for sure. We're just like we're like in my eyes, and I don't. It's probably self-proclaimed. I was like, but we're very much so like the motley crew of country music in my eyes.
I think in many people's eyes.
Cool, perfect. That rules, dude. That's awesome. It's not as far as size, but just like how we like mentality and like how we act. You know what I'm saying? Like
along those lines. I mean, do you guys feel? Maybe Jelly has expressed this. Like, do you guys feel a sort of responsibility to sort of continue what you're doing and to sort of change in the country metal scene?
Oh, dude, I think it's
I mean, you guys are just doing what Jelly is who he is. And
Jelly, dude. Honestly, bro, Jelly hasn't asked us to do anything.
Style,
it's just like who we are, like where we come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've just always been like party guys, and it's not something that we definitely not something to brag on by any means, but it's just like that's just who since we all met like that day, it's just been like, oh, we all are like the same person. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all very much so very similar, and and there's just been no slowing. I mean, just the band, just in general, just Jelly's band in general. Like, there's.
Are you tight with any of the Bailey Zimmerman guys?
Yes,
I felt that they all look literally the same too.
Yeah, those are so
fun. Yeah.
Oh, I love them. Max is like one of my best friends ever. I love Max so much.
Tell him to get his ass in here. We've been texting a few times.
He's a sissy. I love him. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I love that.
He wasn't kidding.
Yeah, it's on the mic, so he's not kidding.
Oh, dude, he loves. Dude, the funniest thing about their band is they like roast the fuck out of each other. I mean, like mean roast, dude. Like fighting words roast. Yeah. And it is so funny watching it happen in real time. It is hilarious. Yeah. Like it is. I'll let Max tell it, bro.
But I'm gonna say it anyway. Yeah.
I'll let Max tell it, bro. It's so fucking funny.
Like personal shit.
Like very personal. Yeah. It's so funny, dude. Dude, that's awesome. Oh, I love it.
What's going on, Nashville drummers? I know there's a lot of you that are eager to learn more about how you can use Ableton for playback on the stage. And the tricky part is there's not one central location that you can go to learn this topic. So over the past year, I've been working with drummers that you probably know on a website called Groove MPL. And one of the focuses is Ableton and how you can use it on the stage. So every month on this site, we have professional drummers diving into topics that are gonna help you use Ableton on the stage. We have people like MJ Milam breaking down how he does his walkout track for Lauren Watkins. We have the host of this podcast, Dan Ainspan, breaking down some of the basics. We got Timothy Burkhead showing how he plays on stage with Maggie Rose. So you can sign up today at groovempl.com with the discount code NDP for Nashville Drummers Podcast, and you're gonna get 50% off your first month. And I look forward to meeting you all.
God, I love them. I love that band. Dude, there's not like a lot of bands in this country world that I don't love though. Like we're very like our band is like just very open dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not the ego guys. We never will be.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like because of where we all came from, and,
Yeah.
and that grinding in that metal world will really kill that ego.
Yeah. It'll make you humble, for
people.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for some people. I feel like I was saying, I don't even remember. That was a good I liked that conversation. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. That was good.
We're still in
that.
it. Yeah.
I know you wanted to ask a question about drum solos.
Did I?
You did.
I'm not there yet though.
Okay.
All right.
I don't want to get ahead, but I have
Let's jump
something
to. I mean, 2025 is our first interview of the year, which is fucking awesome. Happy New Year to both of you.
Dude. Yo, this is sick.
I would ask you how your New Year's Eve was, but I saw you on TV with Jelly, so walk us through that experience.
Dude.
You just ripping shots on stage. Was that
I
what
don't know
saw? Yeah.
who
Who said yes to that? Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy. There was even in the moment I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like I was standing next, dude. Oh my gosh. Dude, it was Keith Urban, Nicole Kidman, Kane Brown, his wife, Jelly Roll Bunny, Burt Kreischer, his wife, me and Shabuzi. and then like the rest of our band. Yeah. And I was like, why? I should not be in this circle. Like, what are we doing? What is happening? But I was like, screw it, dude. Like, whatever. I'm here now. And I had this overly loud fur coat on, and it was
I remember seeing that.
So awesome. And yeah, the countdown happened, and me and Shabuzi are just like looking at the crowd, just going, yeah, like. And then I turned around and I gave Keith a hug. I love him, dude. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know my name, but every time he sees us, he goes out of his way to like come give us a hug and say hi. And that is so
seems
awesome.
so cool.
He
Yeah,
is
I've never
the
met him,
sweetest
but,
dude.
yeah.
I mean, Keith Urban is hands down one of the sweetest dudes I've ever met, and like in this world. And like he stood by the stage, and I watched him like fucking with Jack, and like he would like look at me and be like, dude, like just things that he. It's like almost he's like he doesn't know who he is. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, that's so fucking cool. Yeah. Like that is so cool. And then like. I just have so much respect for people like that. Like so much respect. Like that dude loves music. Yeah. And that dude genuinely loves music. And he's one of the sickest shredders ever.
Oh yeah.
Like so sick. And then his wife, I mean, one of the greatest actresses of all time. Like, and I like she looked at me and we like just did one of those things where we was like cheering and we like turned around and just accidentally made eye contact. And I was like, Happy New Year. And she was like, Happy New Year. And we like gave each other a hug. And I was like, I love your husband. And then, it's just so
don't make it weird, Nicole.
Yeah.
And then,
oh yeah, there's cameras here too.
Yeah. No, not like that. It was just like, it was just so, because obviously, you know, she didn't want to like disrespect me, and then obviously I know who she is, so I don't want to make her uncomfortable, and like, I mean, or anyone ever, but like it, you know, but she like opened up and I was like, oh yeah, dude, it was like Happy New Year. And I was like, dude, your husband's amazing. And and then I saw Bert and gave him a hug, and he still had the bottle of champagne. I was like, dude, waterfall it. And he was like, yeah. And then that's when that photo was taken where he like waterfalled it. And I think I didn't know how much was in that bottle. Sure. And he didn't stop and I didn't get up. And I finished the bottle. Yeah. There was at least halfway full minimum. And that was a really funny moment. I got up and I was like, that's a lot. And then I was like, and then I sat there for a second and realized what was going on, and I was like, oh, I need to find my girlfriend and give her a kiss. And then I ran over to her and gave her a kiss, and I was like, holy shit, dude. What the fuck? It was
How
crazy,
about the performance aspect of that?
Oh yeah,
I mean, you're coming off of the tour and like do you get nervous for stuff like this?
No. Yeah. I love stuff like that. I get I got nervous for Bridgestone because I know how much it meant for sure. You know, and that's like Jelly's hometown, and I think I got nervous in Louisville because that was like my hometown, and obviously I want to like put on for everyone and stuff. But this New Year's show, I was like, the only thing I ever get nervous about is Jelly calling audibles on stage because he loves to do that, or change his set list right before, or give us new songs to learn 15 minutes before we go on stage. And yeah, it's beautiful. That's, you know.
Like, are we talking not covers? I mean, like original.
No, I mean
like,
originals or other people's songs.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, when we played Madison Square Garden on that tour, and no joke, ask any of the band members, 30 minutes before we were going to do prayer, 30 minutes, management came in and said, hey, you need to learn Losers, I Had Some Help, and another Post Malone song. Post just showed up, and he might come. We might do these. Jeez. And we were like, what? And we were like, all right, cool. So, and then you just see 8 band members scramble with headphones, like writing out charts or like doing their
Okay, so
stuff.
What's your process for that?
Dude, my process is weird. My process, I will show you my process.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just like the new album. So I do it where I write down, I'll play the song, and then here I'll show each individually. So I'll play the song in my headphones, and I have like a thing that I write out for everything, where it's just like intro, verse 1, pre-chorus
Sections,
1. Yeah, so I write down every section of what a song would entail, a normal radio song. And so then I'll listen to it again, or through that I'll count out, the first listen I'll count out each bar for each section. And I'll be like, intro, 4 bars silent. Verse 1, 4 bars. Pre-chorus, 4 bars, you know, like, and I'll write out the whole song by measure. And then I'll go through and be like, okay, I don't play here, don't play here. And then I'll be like, here's this pattern for this, pattern change, listen for choke here. And just write out small little notes. And then I'll go through one last time and I'll read over the notes and try to catch anything that I missed.
Yeah, so each passer you're getting more granular.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, then I'll put like the basic rhythm, basic groove of what it is. So it's like 6/8 up here, kick, you know, whatever the kick snare pattern is, and like so on and so forth. So I'll just
funny, I can hear this pattern just from seeing. Yeah.
And then so that's like how I never learned how to do like charts, like Nashville charts.
Chorus 2, 8 gospel Tom thing, like liar.
Yeah, so that was like that kind of part.
So is this I mean, obviously you're backstage, like you have 30 minutes, you know, you don't have time to do a Nashville chart or like an actual more formal.
Yeah, that's
is this how you normally would anyway?
That's how I do anything. Except for metal songs I can't do that to, unless they're like radio rock, like verse chorus, then I can kind of do it. But like, that day, this was that day with the I Had Some Help, like just super specific into like every little thing, every little hit.
Dude, that's stressful, especially if it's.
But it's like for some reason this is like the fastest way for me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like 3 listens and I can go play this song.
I've seen that. I've seen a lot of drummers do that actually.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know like how anybody else would do stuff like that. Like that's just how I didn't learn that from anyone. That's what I had to pick up here. Like, how can I remember these songs?
I mean, it's kind of like a fight or flight. It's like I have 3 times to listen through it. I need to write down. You know, the easiest way to know I'm out, I'm in.
Yeah.
Kick snare, like, and that's it. You can't afford to do anything else. You know.
You know, those biggest stressors are making sure I'm out when I'm supposed to be out. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, dude, I get so scared when we have like last minute stuff like that. Like, dude, okay, so this is gonna be not very. I'm not from Tennessee, so it makes sense, but this is very un-Tennessee of me. But we were on stage, and he called out Rocky Top. Mm-hmm. He like came to the mic and said, "Hey boys, we got to pass time. Let's play Rocky Top." We'd only played Rocky Top once, and it was one of those scenarios where we learned it. He told us before we were going on stage. Our guitar player, Joe, knows it because he's a picker. So he knew it, but I was like, dude, I don't know where to stop. I don't know when to start. I don't know how to play drums for Rocky Top. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just like
and I never thought we were ever playing it again besides that one time.
Yeah, you didn't go back and learn it.
Yeah, and so I get in the talkback mic and I tell everyone, I'm like, hey guys, I don't know what we're like. When do I stop? And everybody was like, we don't know either. And I was like, oh shit. So our guitar, so we were like, fuck it, dude. So he starts it, and I was just like,
Yeah, chewing the train. Yep.
And I just could barely hear his acoustic in my ears, and then like I jelly stopped, and it just seemed like one of those moments that we were gonna stop, and I was like, all right, cool. So and he goes, and
Yeah, you just kind of
nailed it,
out.
and it was like,
see, and that's where
shit.
like your musicality and like having the theory background, maybe even like doing band, that just like your subliminal just saves you, you know.
Dude,
I've been there too. Yeah,
it was
I don't know
so
why I know
good.
how it's gonna go, but I know how it's gonna go.
yeah, like you just those heightened senses.
At least
you know?
the roundabout of it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But dude, yeah, sorry. I got so sidetracked. Playing that show was so sick, dude. I had so much energy. Like, I was like, I felt really, really good. My whatever these are, whatever that muscle is, those did not like me the next day.
Forearms,
But, my forearms did not like me the next day. But it was, dude, I had a blast, man. That was so fun. I'd never played like that. I've never played like the New Year's here, so I was just stoked, dude. I was so
Have you guys
stoked.
done New York or a different?
Yeah, we did. We did the Dick Clark in Times Square last year, so that was a fucking blessing too, man. It
And
was
now we
cool.
just had our boy Eric Pritchard and Meg Maroney just did New York. So that's flip-flops,
Dude, I texted Eric the
In
other
the fucking
day.
rain, I felt so bad.
Dude, I texted Eric the other day and I said, did anybody text you and say go Notre Dame yet? Because he knows how big of a Bulldogs fan
Oh, he's
he
the
is.
biggest. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He said no, they're too scared. But he said being a fighting Irish fan is like terrorism.
That's exactly something Eric would say.
Dude, oh god,
You can quote him on that.
It was so funny, bro.
Yeah.
I love that guy. That's another dude. I don't really know their whole band, but I know Eric, and
Yeah, we
That's
had a
cool.
great conversation with him here.
He's a sweetheart.
yeah,
Yeah, and
super
he,
sweet dude.
to going back to what you said about like giving back, and that was a big takeaway for me, at least talking to Eric. Like he felt really passionate about being a mentor for that younger generation and giving back.
Absolutely,
you know?
dude.
Just
Yeah,
cool.
I think that's something we should really all be like aware of if we can, and if we're in that position to where like you should never think that you're in that position, but when someone comes to you with wanting that advice and with like, you know what I'm saying? Because if you look at yourself and you're like, oh yeah, I'm in that position, people want to know things from me, like that's just egotistical. But if you are doing your thing and people are coming to you for advice, and you are like, and people are coming to you and because they look up to you in a certain way, like being there for that generation and being able to help them and you know, giving back and doing things for people that you may, or that you didn't get to experience and you wanted to experience is so important, I think. And giving, and you know, especially there's so many people in the country world that are like from a small town, being like a representation for that small town as far as like showing that if you know, there's so many people that are like, oh, I want to get out, but they don't feel like they can. It's like, it's cool when people, you know, let you know, like, hey man, this is what you're doing is really showing people that there is hope, there is a way, and it's like I never sit back and think about that because I don't want to be egotistical, but.
Yeah.
You know, I'll get messages like that from a lot of people from my town, and it just means that much more. It means so much, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love that.
I just went back to Albany for the holidays, and I saw my high school band director.
Yeah,
and it was that same thing. And like sees all my stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and that was just really special because I told her, I'm like, it all started with you. You know, my early drum teachers in the small town of Albany. You know, it's cool to just like have that moment. It's kind of full circle, you know.
Did you go to Upstate Concert Hall a lot?
No, not really. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
though?
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Man, there's a grocery store across from that Upstate concert hall. That was my best friend, bro.
Yeah.
I'd go in there and get the General Tso's chicken out of. Woof. They had some meals out of that grocery store,
Yeah.
dude. It was awesome. It's a really good, like $5 plates, man. It was great.
Damn.
I love that spot.
Yeah.
Sorry, that just brought back a memory.
Dude, yeah.
Dude, sometimes a meal leaves a mark in your soul.
Especially if it was
Some
good.
good General Tso's at like a grocery store. You're like, I'm expecting kind of like down.
Yeah, you
But
remember
if you
those,
if
yeah.
you give me something that's like above a 7.5 at like a little podunk grocery store that's in the hot and ready area, I'll remember you forever.
Oh, dude. And then like if you it's like, well, dude, it was just, and I mean, you know, too, bro, like being on tour back then in the vans and trailers and like finding a spot that would give you like cookout was a treasure.
Yeah, an oasis in the desert.
It was
That's what that is.
treasure, bro.
That's why Buc-ee's is everything.
Literally,
now,
yes, 100%.
because touring musicians were like, hey, guess what? There's this place that sucks less than everywhere else to stop
It's
at.
like, dude, getting the $5 trays from Cookout or like going to Sheetz and Wawa and be able to get
dude,
like
yes.
a $5 full ass meal was everything. And like that's why that's why I remember that grocery store is because
by chance?
no,
But that was in Albany?
it was across the street from Upstate Concert Hall because yeah, I would always walk there, dude. God, that place ruled. But yeah, it was awesome. I get not potato salad. I get like a macaroni salad and the General Tso's chicken, or it was teriyaki or something like that. But it was like a $5 plate, dude, and just filled that bitch up. Dude.
Do you have
two meals?
Do you have other spots like that you're like, every time I go through here, I have to stop at this?
Dude, yeah. In Orlando, there's a spot called Gringo's. Do you remember Back Booth? Okay, Back Booth was like an older metal venue in Orlando, but on that same road, there's a spot called Gringo's. It still exists, and they have these crazy burritos, dude. They're like so cool. They had this one burrito. I can't remember the name of it, but it has beef and chicken in it, and
What absurd.
Is that allowed?
always wanted that.
Yeah.
I like always would be like, without it being extra, I just always wanted that.
Yeah.
And I think they call it the mouth hugger, I believe is what it's called. And I love it. I still go there and get it. Every time I go to Orlando, I like go to Gringo's. Like that's like one of those spots. Columbus, Ohio, Piata. There is a place called Piata. It is my favorite food of all time. My favorite place to eat of all time.
Wait, is that the Italian? Like,
Italian,
chain,
yep.
Right? Is it chain?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
I've been there.
so I don't know when I only discovered it I discovered it in Columbus, and they started branching around Ohio, and they had like 2 or 3 in Cleveland. They put a couple in Cincinnati. There's a couple in Indianapolis, and then there's there's 2 in Texas, 2 in Dallas. And it's this Italian street food spot. It's like a Qdoba or a Chipotle, but Italian. They have these things called piatas, which is like a burrito with spaghetti in it, with pasta in it. And you get to choose, like, you get your pasta, and then you choose, like, if you want Alfredo, or they have the sauce called Diavolo, and then they have this other sauce called, it's just like their regular marinara, sorry. It's like marinara, Alfredo, and this other sauce called Diavolo. And then they have this crazy Parmesan garlic ranch that they make in-house, and you choose your meats, you choose your veggies, and you can get, like, a pasta bowl, or you can get the Piata burrito. And it's just fucking amazing. They have these things called pepperoni sticks, and it's like this.
God bless them.
And it's crunchy, and they have cheese and pepper. Oh my god, it's so good. I love
man
Piata.
loves Piata,
And they have
yeah.
Italian sodas. It's my
Yeah,
dude,
that's literally what it is. Chipotle but like kind of upper scale
Literally.
Italian. Yeah.
it's so good.
It's so
It's not even a restaurant. It's
I just can't believe I haven't heard of it.
dude. They don't have them here. They don't have them in Kentucky. It's like all of their locations are in Ohio, just about. But then they have a select few in like Indianapolis, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Texas. How it branched and skipped over every other state and just went to Texas.
Right.
Dude. Texas probably has one of those test food markets.
That makes sense,
well, yeah, that's why In and Out got there first after the West Coast. Well, soon. One more year.
Dude,
I'm ready.
Wawa is like another. Obviously, Wawa and Sheetz are like two or more of those spots. I know those are gas stations, but like those were very pivotal. That like anytime I saw a Wawa, I would stop at a fucking Wawa. Like
Wawa is religious for a lot of
Italian
people.
panini was the go-to.
Milkshakes. I mean, they got everything.
They have it all. Yeah. There's a spot in
such a godsend when you're out there.
there's a
I can't do Hardee's again. I can't do it.
I'm gonna say something that may not make any sense, but it makes sense in my brain, and that's okay with me.
Yeah.
Wawa, Florida is way sicker than Northeast Wawa. I don't know why. I don't have a reason, but I value Wawa in Florida way more than any other Wawas. And North Carolina. The southern Wawas are sick.
But they originated on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, I think they originated in Jersey or
Jersey.
PA, one of those. I think. And that was
The South understands the spirit of
and
the
it was
Wawa.
really weird to me too because Sheetz was in like West Virginia and Virginia, and they had some Sheetz in like PA and stuff too.
Yeah.
So I never understood why Sheetz didn't just take over Northeast and Wawa didn't go over the South. But Wawa's starting to come to the South now because they're putting one in Kentucky, but they're putting it in a part of Kentucky that is it's in Louisville, but it's just like, damn, why'd they have to go there? I'm so sad they went there.
Dude, I need to get I just want to be contrarian and get like a Wawa tattoo and be like, anybody who's got Buc-ee's merch, like, fuck you. Fuck Buc-ee's.
Oh, dude.
Hate that stupid beaver. It's all about Wawa, dude.
Dude, I met
Sheetz supremacy.
I got to meet the beaver. I met Buc-ee himself.
You met the guy.
I met him.
How was he?
That was in Texas. It was great. I was on this Christmas Celtic. I haven't even told you about that. I'll have to catch up. Yeah.
We really.
I just did this 3-week like Christmas Irish band tour. It was incredible.
No shit.
The bass player was like obsessed with Buc-ee's. Every shirt was Buc-ee's, Buc-ee hat.
Really?
And he was like a 12-year-old adult. It was
Was the bass player Leland Nelson?
It was not.
Okay.
No.
Yo, there are people that like
Eddie Rodick III. Love you.
Okay.
there are people that really like. Look, I fuck with Buc-ee's. I fuck with Buc-ee's. I like Buc-ee's. I like to stop there if I don't have anything from Buc-ee's and get like beaver snacks and beef jerky. And it's whatever. There are people that really fucking ride for Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Like full merched out. Like just like you like you were saying, it's like there is like people that, and then you get Texans like this one over here who don't fuck with Buc-ee's at all. She's like, fuck. Dude, I pulled into a Buc-ee's to get gas one time. She goes, why did you come here? And I was like, dude, it was the one in like Alabama. Or no, there was the one going to Kentucky that they just built. And there was like a pilot on the other side. And I was like, dude, I'm just getting gas. And she was like,
she's disgusted. Yeah.
Could have went to her loves or something. And I was, dude, she was so I felt so bad. Like obviously I could have got gas and she wouldn't have cared, but like I felt so bad with how she looks because she was like, obviously being from Texas, I know that she's just always had to grow up around Buc-ee's all the time. And so it was like, okay, dude, I'll go to Love's. I'll go to Pilot. It was like a very like funny moment.
Yeah, our boy Nico's from Texas. He's got actually, I have to admit, even though I'm not a Buc-ee's stan by any sense of the imagination, but he has a really sick Buc-ee's tattoo. That's
I don't think I've seen that.
What?
Is that new?
No, he's had it for a while.
Like when we had him on, he had that?
No, he's had it for about at least a year now.
Okay.
Dude, that band,
I'll find it.
One of the bands I managed that I was talking about earlier, Devil's Cut, they did a Buc-ee's Rip t-shirt, and it was like I was so against it. I did everything I could for them to not put that shirt out. And they were
it's so cool.
It was one of their highest selling shirts. And I was like, are you kidding me?
And it's in color too. That's bold.
I gotta see this. Oh, his hat goes, damn.
Like, I don't even care about Buc-ee's, but that
goes pretty hard, yeah.
Yo.
They just have cool merch, and it's all affordable.
It is.
I had this sweatshirt. My first merch was a sweatshirt.
Yo, they carry like... They carry like Columbia fishing shirts and everything. I love,
Dude, they've got it figured out. And their employees are not only treated well, but they make real money. I mean,
That's a fucking real place,
it's an
dude.
empire.
Yeah, Buc-ee's is sick. Just like he said, am I a Buc-ee's fan by any means? No. Do I stop at a Buc-ee's every time I see one?
Absolutely.
I used to.
Yeah, you used to.
But I used to. But now
But that's also because they put them where there's not anything else out there.
And they got the great billboards.
I can proudly say I have successfully driven by Buc-ee's multiple times now and not stopped. I'm proud to say that, but also when I fucking stop, I get a haul, bro. I haul and I fucking stock up. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I do love Buc-ee's. There is no hate for Buc-ee's here. I'm a Buc-ee's lover. But am I as obsessed with it when I would pass through Texas in 2017? No.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Good clarification.
How do you get the perfect Nashville kick drum tone? It starts with a Lowboy Leather Daddy bass drum beater. This leather-faced beater occupies the sonic space between felt and wood beaters. It's punchy enough to cut through the mix on those 4-on-the-floor barn burners with the warmth you need for slow ballads. Okay, but who plays a Leather Daddy? Garrett Goodwin from Carrie Underwood's band uses one. Lee Brice drummer Donnie Marple plays a pair. Walk down Broadway any night of the week and you're going to hear one. In Nashville, you can test drive a Lowboy beater at Drumbox and grab one at Forks, Drum Supply, or Nelson's. Check out lowboybeaters.com to learn more.
All right, so drum solos. Yeah, it's a good segue there. Flawless. Yeah, well, obviously you rip as a player, and I've seen, and this is kind of, I guess, also I want to touch on social media if you don't mind, and like brand and all of that. I recall seeing a bunch of killer drum solo videos of you.
Oh, really?
Recently, or just from the last year of touring.
Oh, thank you.
What are your thoughts on solos, and how has that kind of come to be?
I think bro, if you go through the comments on those videos, there are so many drummers that hate that solo. It is so funny. It makes me laugh so hard. And that's fine. I didn't play that for you. I didn't it's not for you. I don't care what you think. But if you hate it, that's fine. Tell me you hate it. That is cool with me. Really how that solo happened. I've never done a drum solo ever in my life.
So it's the same solo more or less
for this one, because it was timed out.
Song,
and how this happened, I did a drum solo in 2020, or 2022 on that tour. And the thing is our set lists come together so last minute, and so late that like the drum solos are just thrown in there as like, we should just do this here. But I never get to rehearse it. I never practiced anything. Yeah. Never got to practice. Never got an opportunity to practice. Couldn't go home and practice because it was too late after we would get out of rehearsals.
So you're saying you don't even know the duration of these solos, or when?
I know in my head, in my ear. You know what I'm saying? But I never got to sit down and map out a drum solo that was artistic or like moved,
something that was crafted,
or like I never got to craft and create something. It was just like, hey, here's your solo, it's coming out of this song, or you're doing a solo here, it's coming out of this song, this is the tempo you're doing 24 bars, and I'm like, okay, well, and I'm still learning the new album song, so it's like learning the new album is whatever. That's my priority over the solos. Sounds like I'm just making excuses here, but in reality, I believe personally, to do a good, well-crafted drum solo, you need to sit with it and make it move and make it grow and build and so on. Like I think drum solo, I think Neil Peart. But then again, I'm thinking 5-minute drum solos. I think drum solo, I think Tommy Lee. But then again, we're talking 5 to 10 minute drum solos.
Yeah, telling a whole story.
We're telling, they're telling. Tommy Lee's flying from rafters. Neil Peart starts out on a marimba. You know what I'm saying? Those are drum solos. Dude, what I'm doing is not a drum solo. To me, that's a drum break.
Break for the fans.
For the fans.
Yeah.
So, in that perspective,
I like that.
That's my perspective on that. Now you say, hey man, we're going to give you a section that's 5 minutes so the band and everybody can take a break. Here's, do your thing and bring it to us. You tell me that, then I can create a drum solo.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing now is like I said, it's a drum break. It could be seen as a drum solo, but to me, 24 bars is not a fucking drum solo. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not that's just a drum break for me. And that's like I said, that's subjective, and that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I am not going to create a piece that's going to move you or anyone in 24 bars. And just because that's just not how I would operate. Like I will create, if I'm going to do a drum solo that moves someone and create, like it's going to take time, and I'm going to really build it out to be a piece. And I'm going to bring in every other element of percussion that's not just drums. Like just, and so did everyone that I look up to that does drum solos, like Tommy Lee, Neil Peart, like this dude, the Tommy Lee drum solo that I saw, he had this whole EDM kind of style thing on one thing sitting up here, and then he had a bunch of like tin cans and nitrous cans and like a bunch of metal stuff up here, and saw blades, and it was fucking sick. And then he would go back and forth and do that, and then he went to his kit and did his thing over some tracks. And another one that I saw that he did, he was like doing a drum solo over like a Skrillex song, but he was doing a circle on a fucking roller coaster, and it's like, yo, those are like thought out, planned, like those are drum solos.
Dude,
and anyway, sorry.
No, this is great.
I guess I'm just trying to explain. So it's like I just get handed this like 24 bar thing, like no practice, no nothing. We're literally in rehearsal, and they said, all right, do something here. Okay, well, 97% of the 12,000 people that are in that arena are not going to understand the cool things that I've learned to do.
That was my next
whole
question.
life.
Yeah. Are you going to chops, or are you going to, what is this?
They're not going to give a single fuck about a chop. They're not even going to know what a chop is. They're not going to know anything about gospel chops or anything about any of that. What is something that a fan thinks is cool with drummers? Speed. They think immediately they resonate with speed. They're like, if you're just a normal person and you sit down and you see a drummer go, it's like, oh, that's cool. You can play drums.
Yeah.
You sit a normal person down in front of them and you go, hey.
Yep.
Stick trick.
Yeah,
They're like,
the crowd goes nuts.
oh my God, dude, this guy's, you know what I'm saying? It's like
100%. Yeah.
and that's like
The mind boggles. It's true.
and on
Chris
top
Angel,
of that,
Mind Freak.
and then on top of that, we're talking about an arena. We're talking about an arena with 12 to 17,000 people. They're not going to hear your ghost notes.
Exactly.
They're not going to hear every little intricate thing that you're doing. They're not going to know what it is, even if you are doing it.
Yeah.
It's not, and you know what I'm saying? Like, to do this fast is so much more clean and concise for the listener and the crowd, and it's easier to digest that than being like,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
oh, time modulation. No one's gonna know what that
Dynamics.
is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel attacked.
like if I'm going, like they're gonna be confused. They're so on and so forth. And it's
Yeah.
like they want something that they can do this the whole time. And so that's just what I went to. That's where my mind went to, was just speed. And even then, that's how the solo started. And then we're midway through the tour, or the break or solo, whatever you want to call it, started. I was just like, I'm just going to go fast, and this will resonate, and it's clean, and it cuts through the mics, and it makes sense, and it'll be understanding for people. And sorry, I also need to get across the fact that if people are intricate in their drum solos and so on and so forth, there is nothing wrong with that. That is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so fucking sick. You know, just me personally off the cuff with a click that's like this.
Yeah, and you got to play the room for the gig you're on. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like
appropriate. Yeah.
I with that speed, I couldn't just think of something
cool.
Like it just me. It's just me. That's just me, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, I didn't have time. I couldn't, and so I just made something up cool. I was like, okay, well, what can I do that's cool and consistent, whatever. So I just did and just played around with it, and it was cool, and I liked that. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And but then we get midway through the tour, and I was like, man, this is kind of boring. I was like, this is like not moving. Like this solo doesn't move. And I could feel that it wasn't moving. I could feel that the crowd wasn't feeling it moving. I was like, what can I do? Because it was just like, as soon as I was introduced, it was just 100 the whole time. It was just the whole time. And I was like, okay, this is a lot to digest. Like this is too much. I was like, what can I fucking do to like whatever? So I'm talking to my steel player about it, telling him that I felt this way. And he's like, dude, you got to bring back the beer thing. And I was like, I was like, dude, I don't have time. I was like, I don't know where I'll find the time to do it. I was like, he's like, well, you do it at sound check. So we go to sound check and he was like, all right, do the double bass things. Like start it with the double bass thing that you would do. And I was like, okay. Cause I was trying to like do like a triplet, like whatever between like hand and so I could just like do something like this or like chug a beer. Yeah. But the click was too fast. Like for me, like I couldn't keep up. I was getting off time. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just try to go double bass. And then my feet weren't fast enough to keep up with the clicks. It would have been like, and I just don't have feet like that. Like, and he was like, dude, halftime it. He was like, just half it with the feet. He's like, you ain't got to go all that. He's like, let it breathe. He's like, just drop the whole thing and just let it be your feet. And I was like, okay. So he just said, I was like, oh,
yeah, it's actually
I can do this and grab beers. And so I'm just doing this.
My hands aren't doing anything. What should I do with my hands?
Yeah. So I was like,
perhaps these beers.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking like, okay, how do I put on a show? Now I can put on a show.
Yeah.
And like, because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what we're there to do. Yeah. Like, we're entertainers. And what people can, and they're not there for us. They're there for jelly. They're, or they're there for the artist, the song. Like, they're not there for, we're there to give them the song that they connected with emotionally. We're there to give them a show so that they can take that home and live with those memories and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, feel that connection. Like, it ain't about
the drum solo is like this nice added treat for them. It's a little extra thing. And it's a little bit for you too. Yeah. It's like it's a way for
that's
them
all,
to go like,
it's not the
we're giving you a
entrees.
moment. We're like, we care about
bit.
you.
Yeah.
And you get to express yourself for a second and get some attention, and that's fun.
And it's like, dude, if you like want to see me do cool stuff, if you want to see me do like intricate, cool, like rhythmic, whatever things that you need to see to justify that I play drums and have whatever, please watch my YouTube videos.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, for sure.
Exactly. That's
go watch those
and,
covers because those are all just fun and me doing gospel weird shit over songs that I shouldn't be doing it over.
Yeah.
And
God bless
that's
you.
You know what I'm saying? That's the fun spot. Yeah. But man, so it was just like, I was like, dude, no, like this is what I've been waiting for. Like now I can put on it, or this is what I've been looking for. Now I can put on a show. And so then I was like, oh yeah, I'll do the I grab 2 beers and just stone cold it because
that's awesome.
Dude. Oh, it's so fun.
Sometimes it's like the simplest thing.
So
it's like, oh yeah, just halftime it.
Yeah, and at that point I was just like, man, this is fun. Like, and this is what it's about. It's about having a good time and smiling and like, dude, just crushing the beers and like, I mean, maybe it's subjective, maybe it's not. I don't know. I've never seen any male or female crush beers like Stone Cold and everyone not get stoked. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen someone be like, whack.
That's a 100% success rate, so I'm going to keep doing it. Yeah.
And if you see someone crush beers like that and they spray everywhere and you don't think that's cool, man, I would love to know what you think is cool. Right. Like,
and this brings us flawlessly into our new segment called...
Crushing Beers with Cody.
What are we going to call this? I don't know what the segment's going to be called, but it's a question from the audience.
Yes.
This one's from Will Beeman.
Yes.
You ever look at a guy in a car?
Oh, not this one. Nope, that's not it either.
All right, what should I ask? What should I ask Cody?
Yeah, I love this.
How do you clean the beer off of your drum kit every night? When you smash them together in the middle of your drum solo.
That was his response to the question today when we finished playing. So
that rules.
I love that. We just started having audience questions.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously, immediately I felt terrible for my drum tech. I felt god awful when I started doing that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize how much beer was going everywhere.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, obviously we like have our stage towels on stage, and so I like the first time I did it, I was like, oh shit. And so then I like grabbed them and like cleaned everything. I like wiped everything down as fast as I could before they played on the next song, and then that song would stop and I'd go back and wipe them down. Well, the stage towels were small and they weren't really doing the best. So he went in, and I guess the next day, I don't think he touched them that night. I don't think he touched the drums that night. And I
Just let them marinate.
And I showed up on stage and I saw it and I was like, dude, and Jelly came to the mic. Well, actually, you know what? Here, I'll go ahead and tell this too. The next night, I felt so bad that I didn't do it with beer. I changed the beer out for water, and I only had the cans half full, so it didn't make as big of a mess. Jelly noticed it immediately, and he came to the talkback mic after the drum solo was open. And he said, "Cody, I've never been so genuinely disappointed in you in my life." He said, "If you ever do that again," he said, "You know what? Don't ever fucking do that again." He was like, if you're going to do it, he said, if you're going to fucking do it, just fucking do it. He said, don't be a fucking bitch, and walked off. And I was like, Casey, everybody under me, you heard him. We're doing this. Like, we're doing this every night. I'm not pussing out. Sorry. And I was just like, sorry. Like, and I wanted to do it anyways. But you know what I'm saying? I was trying to be considerate, but I was like, from there, I was like, okay, I need to make sure, like, this sucks. This would suck for fucking anyone. Like, I need to make sure that I am not an asshole and I take care of this. So I started having him, we would find like shower towels, like big shower towels. And as soon as the song was over, I would take the towels and I would wipe everything down as good as it could. And then we'd play the next song, and then I'd get up and I'd re-wipe everything down. And then he noticed that I was like, I was wiping it down so good to where it was like he only had to do his normal cymbal cleaning and cymbal polish. So like the only time that we ever had to have a conversation was about the drums being polished, because we didn't clean the drums at all because I was doing the beer smash. Yeah. But then it started to get like caked, and I was like, hey man. Actually, I didn't even ask him to do it. I just asked him to bring me the polish because I felt so bad that I was like, you know what, I'll just do it. But then he saw me cleaning, like deep cleaning and doing it. He felt bad, and then he came up. He was like, let's work something out. And and so, you know, God bless his soul. You know, everybody has been saying that. And there was a ton of comments on it. It was like, I feel bad for your drum tech. I was like, hey, I clean. I make sure to do my diligence. You know what I'm saying? Like, I make sure to do my due diligence to where he only has to do his normal process. Dude, that's awesome. It doesn't have to be extra. It doesn't have to be like, he doesn't have to work any harder than what he already does. Is for you, man. How that ended up going. So that's a fun story. So at the end of the day, it's just deep cleaning. But I try to, you know, I do everything that I can so that he doesn't have as much work to do, any more of a workload than he already has.
That's cool of you.
And my drum tech, by the way, his name is Casey Irvin, and he teched for like Pierce Avail, and then he teched for like Panic at the Disco for like 10 years, I think. Cool. And then he came over to us. So, and he's been like a friend. He worked with like, do you guys know who Joe Longobardi is? He plays drums for the Amity Affliction.
Oh, yeah. The name sounds familiar.
Oh, they're a great band. He lives in Nashville too, actually.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. I would love to connect you guys.
Yeah,
please.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Oh, dude, if there's anyone that I can ever connect you guys with, I would you've maybe tried to reach out to, or I will help with anyone that I can. Please, don't ever hesitate to ask. But yeah, dude, I do help. We decided to do like a drum polish every 3 days was what we kind of like came to, because that's when it starts to kind of be seen. Yeah. But we do cymbals every day, and I clean. As soon as I do the beer smashes, I clean everything down multiple times to where it's not any like a hassle for him the next day to do what he just normally does. Like he'll just clean like the little smidges that are left over. So, yeah. So we worked out something pretty cool. Yeah. So, and I don't know how long that drum solo is going to stay, because like last year I didn't have a 2023 I didn't have a drum solo. We just did our normal thing. But 2022 I did have a drum solo, and it was like out of one of our medleys that I had one or something. But which is where the beer smash originated, and yeah, so it was. The beer smash during the drums originated. Sorry, I took that from Stone Cold, obviously. It's like absolute legend, but yeah, man, it's so cool. So that's
I love that Jelly had that reaction.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude, and I respect it so much, and that's fucking real. Yeah. That's so real. Like to be like, yo, don't be a fucking bitch. Like do it, you know. And that's cool.
He seems awesome.
The response of an artist, especially the artist, being the thing that you did was just, it wasn't enough. You did it the first time you did it, you were really you. And the second time you did it, you kind of pussed out.
Yep, I fucking pussed out, dude. Yeah, I fully you can say it. And I fully pussed out.
And that but the response, that's got to feel so good to have that be like, no, go back to being exactly yourself.
For someone to recognize that.
That feels amazing.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it feels awesome.
Hey, drummers, are you worried about losing your hearing? Did you know noise exposure can cause permanent hearing loss?
Dr. Jason Baker with Music City Audiology provides mobile concierge services to musicians in Nashville and surrounding areas. That's right. He is 100% mobile and will come to you. If you need ear impressions, custom in-ear products, ear cleaning, hearing tests, or information about protecting your ears, he's your guy. Music City Audiology cares about drummers and wants to help you maintain your most valuable tools, your ears. Visit MusicCityAudiology.com to book your consult today. That's MusicCityAudiology.com.
Anyways, yeah, that's how we keep the drums clean, and that's, you know, we do it not selfishly, and me and my boy got together and made up a routine that works very well. So I'm very grateful. I'm so grateful for him. Like, I'm grateful for our whole crew. Like, our whole crew is amazing, but you know, my tech is my dog. Like, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just want to read a few 2024 accolades that I had written down kind of as we wrap up here. Just want to get your commentary on some of these things.
Yeah.
In no order. Modern Drummer 2024 Readers Poll, Country Drummer, Drumeo nominee, Country Drummer of the Year. I don't think that's been announced yet as of airing, so that could be you. A DW sponsorship. I mean, you had a huge year.
Yeah.
What has that all been like for you?
I'll go ahead and get the Modern Drummer one out of the way. Yeah. That one hurt. That one, I don't like losing. I'm so competitive. I hate losing. Yeah. Second place is not winning to me.
Sorry, what was that?
Modern Drummer.
What was the poll, or what was it like? What was the category?
It's just Country Drummer of the Year.
Okay, so it's the same thing as Drumeo.
Yeah, and dude, Taco is my fucking dog, and he deserves that dub. My God, he is, if not the best drummer in the country scene right now. If not, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've never seen anyone play more clean and more to what the song is than that man. Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm not, let that be known that I am not upset or mad that he had got number one. He deserves that fully, 100%.
Totally.
And I texted him immediately and told him congrats. I told him I was so stoked on that. But yeah, I don't like losing. So it was one of those things where I was like, all right, we're gonna turn it up then. So where I can't lose. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're gonna fucking turn it up, because I don't want second place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like in a respect, like not in a turd way, not in a sore loser way. That's just like that just motivated me to like, you're not going to be able to, those numbers aren't going to be close again. I'll let you know that. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I will do whatever it takes to make sure that I can get a number one or a win for Modern Drummer.
Yeah.
And
love
you know what I'm saying?
Like, man. Yeah, that's great.
Just, you know, that's just how I've always been, like football. I've just always had a competitive mindset.
I think some people in art are afraid of having a competitive mindset. I am not afraid of that. I think it's great.
I don't think, and especially here, bro, I don't think we can be. Like, dude, I know there is 500 dudes waiting for me to fuck up. There's 500 motherfuckers in this town alone. Oh, yeah. That's not including the world. Yep. I'm talking just this town. There is someone waiting for me to get fired. And there's
dude, there are people hoping for it.
Yeah. Hoping. There are friends of mine that are hoping for it. There are people that call themselves my friends hoping for my downfall. Yeah. And you know what?
How do you handle that?
That's just been my whole life, dude. You know what I'm saying? That's just been it. Like it's just part of it, I think. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, and it's part of it, and I understand it. Dude. I completely understand it. Like there's a Drake lyric that corresponds with a lot of things that have I think it honestly, dude, maybe not even my life, but I think just in general with the music industry, he has a line that says, my life is centered around competition and currency. And for some reason, that line just resonated so fucking hard to me. If I'm not competing for something, then I'm looking for ways to make money. If I'm not looking for ways to make money, something seems like a competition. There's always people gunning for my seat. I was gunning for other people's seat. Like, when I was coming up, and it's like, it's just part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's a level that you have to respect that you have to like you know what I'm saying? Like if there's someone behind me, like, I know you're grinding, young gun. I know what you're shooting for, you know, and I get it. Everybody should be. Why wouldn't you want to drum for Jelly Roll? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't you want to play guitar for Jelly Roll? Like, why wouldn't you want to play guitar for Luke Bryan, bass for Jason Aldean, whoever? Like, every motherfucker here is someone is gunning for their shit, no matter what, at all times.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Friend or not. And just because they're a friend and they may be gunning for your position doesn't mean they're a foe by any means. You know, that's their passion too. But that just means that I have to work that much harder and can't be lazy and can't get comfortable ever. Right. And I don't ever want to be comfortable. The moment I get comfortable is the moment I lose. You can't be comfortable.
Yeah, it's like one of those Mario levels where the level is kind of following you, and if it catches up to you, you're gonna get swallowed. Yeah.
So it's the same as professional athletes. You know, I mean, like Steph Curry and LeBron, they just played right on Christmas, and like I'm sure they're like closest friends, but they step on that court and they're competing. They hate each other.
The Titans are going through it right now. Yeah. Will Levis came in starting QB.
Right.
He had a few good games, fumbled a couple. Number two stepped in right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it was like, right, dude's ready. But that, I mean, football, all of it, like there's someone gunning for your position because that's the goal is to get to that, you know, and you can't be mad about it. That's just what it's about. But so and Taco deserves that fucking number one, that dub so much. And I will never take that ever. Like he is so, I tell everyone that if they ask me like who my favorite drummers in Nashville are, I say him and Grady. He used to play drums for Ernest and now he's just doing writing. Grady is, honestly, Grady might be the best drummer in Nashville and I'll put money on it towards anyone. I don't care. Like that, I've never seen a man be able to make a song move the way that he makes drums sing. I've never seen someone be able to like make drums so part of a song, so artistic. Like he's incredible. I love that dude. But him and Taco are like my tops for sure. But dude, they So the modern drummer thing, I was bummed to come in second. I was grateful for who I came in second to.
Sure,
you know, and every
if you're
drummer
gonna lose is gonna be to him.
Yeah,
you know?
everyone was it was heavy hitters. It was not an easy category. Like that was not an easy category for I nor Taco to go up against. Like everybody there was a heavy hitter. Yeah. I'm just competitive. Yeah. You know, and for sure. And number 2 is cool. Number 2 to Taco is cool. But I don't like to be number 2. You know, I want and it was Modern Drummer. Like I wanted that, you know.
As a child, that's like the, the epitome of
it's like something I've always looked forward to. So I'm hoping one day that I can that I get back into that, or I hope that over the next few years, Modern Drummer brings me back into that category, and I'm hoping I can come away with a win. That'd be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Dude, Drumeo was huge for me. Drumeo was, seeing that nomination was crazy, bro. Because I just for years was like, how do I do that? How do I get that nomination? Like, how do I I want to? I don't know. I never knew how you get nominated for something like that. And even still to this day, I don't know how. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how.
It almost seems like, Modern Drummer is more of an older traditional media outlet.
Yeah.
Drumeo was like, what's up? The trend.
And Modern Drummer too. I had no idea how I got with that too.
Yeah.
I never see myself as like something that's worthy of those kind of things. Like that's just so cool. It's like to see all my favorite drummers like in those competitions in those polls every year, like being nominated, and then like it's just one of those things where you just wish, or you're just like, man, that's so cool. Like maybe one day, like and then it happened, and I was like, oh my God, like this is so cool. And like,
so did Drumeo contact you, or you just
Sarah Hagen used to work at
Zildjian.
Zildjian. So she's I think she's VP
Drumeo
at Drumeo
or
something idea. Or that company, because they have like
Misora Media.
They're huge. They're massive. They got like the guitar channel, keyboard channel, like all kinds of shit.
Jared and the other guy, they're just crushing it.
They're amazing.
Speaking of, I need to watch that Phil Collins documentary.
I need to watch that too.
Yeah,
they're brilliant, bro. But
insane.
So Sarah had reached out to me on Instagram, and she was like, "Hey, I need your email." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I didn't know she was with Drumeo, and then she, sent me the email. I was like, "Hey, congrats, you've been nominated. Like, here's all the info, this and that." So that was amazing. Like and just as, like I said, just as Modern Drummer was amazing as well. Like both of those in the same year being nominated in general, I'm so grateful for. But yeah, so since we came in second on Drumeo, on Modern Drummer, I'm really, really hoping that we could pull out a win for Drumeo, because that would be cool to have at least one win from like my first time being nominated for
that'd
stuff. Like, that'd be really, really cool.
That'd be cool for the podcast.
Yeah. So here's the hoping. And
maybe
we'll find out
by the
in
time
about
this airs.
We'll find out in about 3 weeks.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be praying for you.
Yeah. Thank you. God, I hope so, man. I really hope so. But you know what? If not, it's okay, and we'll just have to work 10 times harder, and that's just what it comes down to.
Hell yeah.
DW was a blessing. That's just one of those companies that I said that's what I wanted. That was the goal. That was everything that I had ever had for it. And I was with Mapex, and Mapex was good. I was with SJC, and then when I was with Sylar, and then I joined Mapex in 2021. And I was with them until this year, and they did a lot of cool things for me. They gave me my first clinics, and that was super fun because I've always wanted to do clinics and stuff. And and then then DW came along, and man, I was so grateful. Like that was mind blowing to me. Like, and then they've been just so great, and they've been like my drum tech has like a lot of contact with them just for if we need parts or so on and so forth, and just seeing how receptive they are. And I'm a part of all the email threads, so I see how things work, and they're just such a great company, and so reliable, and so like on top of it if anything happens. And my rep over there, Garrison, he's the man, dude. Like I could not be more blessed and grateful to have gotten that offer and to like be a part of that company. Because we were submitting, and we were actually submitted for hardware only.
Okay.
That story's like really funny. I gave up on submitting. So here's what happened. I gave up on submitting. I was tired of getting denied, and whatever. I was with Mapex. I didn't know that my tech and RTM had still been submitting to them for hardware. Had no idea.
Yeah.
And then I get an email randomly this year that was like, hey, we got your request. We would love to have you on the team, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I think you guys got the wrong person. Like, I think you guys got the wrong thing. And so I call them and I'm like, hey, is this right? And they were like, yeah, this and that. And I was like, damn, like, that's so cool. Like, I wasn't expecting this. And they were like, yeah, well, we got your thing. And I was like, oh my, they must have been submitting for this.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. I was like, so, how do we go about drums? And he was like, oh, drums. He was like, this is just hardware. And I was like, oh. And he was like, are you like interested in drums? And I was like, are you interested in being part of the team? I was like, yes. I'm like, of course. Yeah. And he was like, let me call you back. And I was like, all right. And he called me back like then I went inside and I looked at my drum tech. I was like, dude, have you guys been like submitting to DW for stuff? He was like, yeah, did you get an email? And I was like, yeah. He was like, what did it say? And I was like, said they brought me on, but I was on the phone and I was asking about a drum stuff and they didn't know what I was talking about. And he was like, oh yeah, it was just hardware. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, even then that's fucking sick. Like I DW hardware that's all I use.
Yeah.
And then he calls back and he was like, hey man, we want to offer you like a full endorsement, everything, drums, hardware, everything. And I was like, what? And so that was a big moment for me, for sure.
Yeah, I've never seen that post. I mean, congrats also. That's
thank you.
Give us the specs quick. It's like it's all black, right?
Yeah, so I have I have this all black sparkle kit, and then I can't remember what the white kit is called. I call her La Flama Blanca because she's gorgeous. I love her, but it's like there's an all white kit, and then there's the black sparkle kit, and so the specs of it are 14 maple snare, 10 kind of like trap maple snare, and then 8x6. I think the whole kit's maple. It's 8x6, 10x7, 12x8, 16x16, 18x16. Kick is 22x18, I believe. Yeah, and then I have a 20x16 kick that floats, that doesn't have a bottom head, that's just mic'd up.
Okay, so like a gong drum.
Yeah. And then a 14-inch snare here too. So I have like this one's like loud. I actually use the Vinnie Paul snare. So that was allowed. They told me I could use it. That's okay. They said I could use different snares. But yeah, I use the Vinnie Paul snare because that thing is like 14 by fucking 8.5 or some shit. Yeah. It's just massive. So I'm very, very grateful for all the things that happened last year, from just the first like NBA, NHL arena tour to like all the festivals and to DW, to Remo, and then getting nominated for Drumeo and Modern Drummer were just with the people in the categories alone were just enough to just be like, oh my, like, wow. Like, it's just like, I don't belong with these people. Like, these people are masters of their craft. Like, I am just merely a fan and a bystander of those people. But, I was grateful to be seen as a part of it.
Yeah. You're humble.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a good year. It was a good year. I'm very grateful for
Cheers to 2025, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's going to be another good year.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Marcus Finney, and you're listening to the Nashville Drummers Podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, you want to go first? So we typically just do some quick rapid fire, off the cuff questions.
This is what I was referring to before. What is your favorite noodle?
Favorite noodle?
Yeah.
Angel hair pasta. Okay. Angel hair noodle. Angel hair noodle. Angel
hair. That, Lou.
Yes. Angel hair noodles are my favorite for sure. Okay. I love angel hair.
Great choice. Great choice. Okay, that's it. That's one question.
That's good. Describe the first 60 minutes of your day.
60 minutes of my day?
Any routine or anything like that?
I wake up. No, God dang it. I haven't gotten a routine, dude. I wake up and I say, oh, God.
Why did I drink that last night?
I'm like, oh, dude, it's rough. Honestly, dude, I wake up and I either take a shit and then I take a piss, or I piss and then shit. And then
one of those. One of those.
And then I wash my hands.
Sometimes at the same time. You know?
Yeah. And then I wash my hands, and then sometimes I'll take a shower, but then sometimes I'll brush my teeth first. Every now and then I reverse the order. Sometimes I brush the teeth and then do a shower, and then that's a crazy day.
Do you find that either way it has kind of a benefit? Like maybe today is a brush before the shower kind of day because I need like a certain kind of momentum.
I've found that
I need to basically get out of the shower running.
Yeah, I found that the days that I shower first before brushing, I'm not as stoked on that shower.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I'll normally get out of the shower and
because you know that you're not cleaning your mouth.
It's like
yet.
I taste it. I'm just sitting there showering.
I'm still dirty.
I'm like smelling good and feeling good, and I'm just like my mouth is not there.
Yeah.
So
hate to see it.
So then I'll go to the kitchen to make some coffee, and then I'll I'll just sit there and turn on a show for I'll watch like a couple episodes and drink some coffee, and then be like, fuck, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
And then I'll try to find something that I gotta do.
That is like 2 p.m. at that point.
Damn,
I know I gotta do something.
Shit, I gotta make.
I know what it is, but I gotta do something.
I'm like, fuck, I gotta make a post today, or
Yeah,
shit, I need to record a video, or
stupid podcast.
Then I'm like,
later today.
no, God, no, dude. I was like stressing, bro, because I was like, I'm so glad you texted me the other day, because I was like, I couldn't remember what I checked off on that online thing. I couldn't remember if I did the 2nd, the 4th, or the 6th.
Okay,
and I could not. All I remembered is I clicked 8 p.m. But I couldn't remember if it was the 2nd, 4th, or 6th.
Believe me, we always check because everyone has always got gigs and cancellations.
I was so stoked that you texted me the other day. I was like, thank God, because I was so stoked about this podcast. I'm still stoked about it. But it was like, I was like, dude, if I miss this, I'm gonna feel like a fucking. But I would not miss it. I'm not. I don't really miss. I'm never like really late or like miss things. I'm pretty like on top of stuff.
Yeah, man.
I could not remember. I was going through emails trying to find it and like everything. But yeah, man. And then like I'll like go through my phone and like try to see if there's something I need to post, or like I manage 2 bands too. So I manage a band called Devil's Cut, and I manage a hardcore band called Southpaw. So I'll like take care of business calls and networking calls that I need to do for them, or check emails, and then I'll try to go through like socials and just find new, either like what patterns are happening through social media with like posts, or like what's trending, or what's going through there, and I'll talk to Brooke throughout the day, and if she's in Texas, and yeah, man, I really just try to, a lot of it just revolves around music and managing, and if I'm just getting off tour, I normally take like a break from drums just to give my head a little clear, whatever.
Yeah.
But honestly, all my drums and shit I like have drums at home, but I don't have like stands and seats or like thrones and stuff. I need to like re-up on that stuff so I can like start playing again. But that's probably like the first 60 to 120 minutes of my day.
Cool.
Before I go out and start drinking.
Right on. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I really don't do that unless I don't really like go out. I've gone out a lot since we've been home from tour, but now that things are like winding down and there's like not all of these events, it's gonna be pretty tame for me for the next 2 months, to be real with you. So it'll be just a lot of business and getting back into the gym. I need to grow up and make a doctor's appointment. I got to do that. I need to I need to find like a, what are those called?
It's like a primary care.
Yeah, I need to find a primary. Like, I don't have a primary.
I know. I just scheduled a physical. Yeah.
I got to do that too. I think I have a hernia.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. Sucky.
I'm sorry.
It's like the worst part of me, I think, is that I stress so much about, dude, I like stressed myself out about buying a couch. Like I was like, I'd never like went and bought a couch before, and I was like,
that's a stressful purchase.
I was like, damn, dude, I'm gonna be like, well, not even the price of it, just the idea of having to choose something that's gonna be in my house, and like, what if I didn't like it? You know what I'm saying? Like, or like being overwhelmed with how many couches and options there was gonna be. Like, and I would,
too many,
dude. I would stress myself out about it so much that I would like just not go. And then finally, like she came down and then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna go.
I can't imagine what pillow selection must have been like.
I didn't get any. I didn't get any pillows. Yeah. I got a couch and I got a sick chair, and I got some end tables. So I was
There
like,
you go. That's all you need.
super. The next purchase is a TV, but I already got that one picked out. That one's
Nice, yeah.
that's awesome. So
Nice.
I'm stoked on those. But yeah, that's pretty much like how my days and year. It's gonna be pretty tame until we start touring again. So
You guys are doing the global this year?
I think.
Yeah.
I don't have the rest of the year. Like I don't have from July on. I do know that we're doing Canada in March. We're doing a whole Canada run. And I'm so excited about that because I've done like a Canada run, but I haven't done like the west coast of Canada. I've been to Victoria and I've been to Vancouver, but I haven't been like North Canada.
Yeah.
And I want to go there so bad. And I'm so excited. So we get to do like a bunch of that. And then we do the whole east. We start in Victoria, which Victoria is one of the most beautiful parts of Canada. It's like this little island off the coast of Vancouver. It's gorgeous. So we get to like do rehearsal out there, and then
Incredible.
So I'm really excited about that. And then we go and make our way from the West Coast and over to like Toronto and Ontario and all that stuff. So very excited about that. And then we go straight from that into Stagecoach, and then from Stagecoach into the Post Malone tour.
Oh, sick.
So that's the
Of course, yes.
that one's gonna be crazy. It's our first stadium tour, so it's
Yeah.
like stoked. I'm so stoked, dude. I cannot wait.
Well, man, I'm excited for you. It's gonna be a
Dude,
good
thank
year.
you, man. I'm excited
Yeah.
for you guys. You guys are about to hell of a year.
I hope so.
Dude, last year
this
was
is a hell of a start for us.
dude.
so
Last year
I'm
was
glad-
crazy for
yeah.
y'all too, man. Like
been a
so
big
many
year of
drummers
growth,
that I
yeah.
know talk about y'all. Like more than you probably even realize. Like this is
Probably, yeah.
this what you guys are doing are so fucking cool.
Appreciate
Like this
that,
is
yeah.
cool as shit.
Thank you.
For real.
It's because we're bringing on cool guests like you. So, it's honestly, I mean, it's the community of people here. I mean, Nate and I are, I guess we're interesting too, but it's the guests that it's all about the guests, it always has been.
I respect that. But you guys, if there's no guests without you guys, so it's give yourself that credit for real
Yeah.
because it's very much so due. And what you're doing for you guys are giving back to a community that I think that a lot of people here don't feel like they probably get the recognition that they deserve, and I feel like this is one of those outlets that allows that and gives that, and I think that's so special and should not be overlooked 100%. So very much so take that
Thank you.
in and
Thanks for saying that,
realize
yeah.
like what you guys are doing for people, because it's secluding podcasts and things to only people that are doing stuff or like doing stuff on what some people would say is a certain scale,
Right.
secluding it to only that,
Dude,
is not cool.
That's what we wanted. We wanted to talk to the next generation. and
Yeah.
Even the guys that
Bring
are
it-
just playing once a week at church,
Exactly,
I want to talk to
dude.
everybody.
Yeah.
So
Bro,
cool,
yeah.
man. Like that, and that's how it should be. And I love and respect that. So, and that's why I was really stoked about this podcast too, because I saw that. And what made me say that is, and there's no disrespect to anybody that's been on here or you guys, but it was like there's a lot of people that I was like, who is this?
Right.
Yeah.
And I would go look at that person. I would have to go look up their stuff, and it was like I would find out all these new things and find out that, oh, dude, this guy rips, or like this guy's doing something special. Like this is cool, and like that's so cool to me because there's not a lot of platforms that people give that opportunity, for people in all facets of life. Or what's that word? Facets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and
so-
Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
And last question, speaking of finding people.
Let's go.
Where would you like people to find you?
Man, there's plenty of outlets you can. I use Instagram the most. I have at Cody Ash Drums, and then I also have another page at Go PORKCHOP Go, and then on YouTube it's Cody Ash Drums. TikTok is Cody Ash Drums. Facebook's Cody Ash. You can find me anywhere. Lemonade, Cody Ash Drums. Where can we find you? That's not the Nashville Drummer Podcast.
Oh, I'm over at Dan Ainspan Drums.
I've never been on the internet before, so
Respect.
We've never been asked that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you should be asked that because your personal pages are just as important as this podcast too.
Thank you, man.
And everybody should know that.
Hell yeah.
Don't fucking forget it.
Come take a look inside. I'm open-minded to your questions, but what I failed to mention is it won't be very pleasant. It got me stressing, hating my own reflection. My self-inflicted wounds really need attention.
One last question in 60 seconds or less. I'd be remiss without asking, if you can, the PORKCHOP nickname. What's that about?
Dude, one day I woke up and I just felt like I just felt like a blob. I felt like I didn't exist. And I'm already like fat as it is. Like I'm already a big dude, you know what I'm saying? And so like to feel that way and be big, I was like, oh, damn, dude, I feel like ham today. I feel like a piece of ham. And the whole day I just felt like a piece of ham or like a ham hock, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny. It's so funny. Yo, and so I'm like laughing to myself all day, calling myself ham. And I go up to my guitar player and I was like, Jack, my new nickname is Ham. He starts dying laughing. Yeah. Thought it was so funny. And so Jelly shows up to this festival that we're playing and he goes, Jack walked up to him and he goes, yo, Cody's new nickname is Ham. And Jelly goes, no, that's crazy that you said that. He's like, on the flight here, me and Manili, his manager, were talking about nicknames for me, and they came up with pork chop. So it was like, ham and pork. Yeah. So it was like, he was like, dude, it fits perfectly. If he was calling himself Ham, I'm gonna call him pork chop.
And then we're going same animal, man. Yeah. So we were on the right wavelength.
So then it's only stuck. Pork chop only stuck because that day we were testing out the new set, and we had just like put that drum solo in. It was only it was like the first or second time we had done it. Jelly had never rehearsed with us, and when I start doing the build up thing, he goes, he's brilliant fucking idea he had, and he just goes, go pork chop, go, and had the crowd do it. Yeah. And if he would have held it up and no one did it, it wouldn't have stuck. But he held it up and the crowd went, go pork chop, go pork. It was huge, bro. Like 50,000 people doing this. And
after that you can't escape a nickname,
dude. And we were doing it. We like looked at each other. We were like, what the fuck? And he loves shit like that. And of course, because like, pork chop is just a fucking funny name. Yeah. And it's so fitting to like
ham.
And it's like cool. So fitting to like a big dude. And so it's just like watching how like people embraced it and like watching how he embraced it. And I was like, man, this is cool. Like this is special. Yeah. Like I think so. It's like a lot of people will be like, do you like being called that? And I was like, bro, what? Who cares?
Yeah. Hey, I was calling myself Ham.
Literally Ham. Yes. Like, dude. Awesome. So I thought it was hilarious, but that's how it came.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast. If you liked it, please consider leaving us a review on the Apple Podcast app. Please consider supporting us on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can help support this dream and keep the ball rolling for us. Believe it or not, it's not free or even necessarily cheap for us to make this thing go. To sign up, go to patreon.com/Nashville Drummers Podcast or click the link in our Instagram bio. All of your help is greatly appreciated.
Visit our website, NashvilleDrummersPodcast.com, where you can listen to all past episodes, learn more about myself and Nate, and buy all your favorite Nashville Drummers Podcast merch, including t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, hats, and drum heads. Connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Nashville Drummers Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.